jumping in, we got two individuals.
On the panel with Prime, so.
Hey,
Prime.
Oh, Prime is here.
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to be here.
As always.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh,
What in the world is this song?
Screen up. There we go.
Okay. So, yeah, thanks for being around. I have a certain topic, but before I do that, do you individuals, do you have anything you burning you want to discuss? No more gender abolition. We get more, not 5 more hours. 5 more
I'm
hours?
tapped out.
Okay.
Tapped out on gender abolition.
I had some comments on that, I guess, but I mean, not really like I caught the tail end of most of that, so, but I wrote a few little notes. I was just confused as to, and you probably may have went over it earlier in there, but I was going to ask like why is there even a need? Like you were talking about, and I think I was saying it in chat. I was like, why is there even a need, or like who cares what society recognizes you as a gender as? You know what I mean? Like, and then if like because a lot of like gender abolitionists believe that gender is a social construct. So why would you feel the need to express your gender in a way that fits into the social construct?
That's a good question. That's a good question. So there's two different answers for it. So you're gonna have two types of gender abolitionists. You're gonna have gender abolitionists that are trans and are gender abolitionists because they are trans. And then you're gonna have gender abolitionists that are feminists and they are gender abolitionists because they are feminists. I'm more of the second one than I am the first one. And the answer for the second one, the feminist perspective, is that the system of gender is a system that can be oppressive, and we should reduce that oppression as much as possible. And we talked a lot about what that oppression can actually mean, but that's the feminist perspective. It's essentially it's not about whether I can present in whatever way I want or not. It's about that the system of gender itself is oppressive. So we should reduce that system of oppression as much as we can. And for people who are gender abolitionists, reducing it means getting rid of the system itself.
Yeah. And I could even concede a little bit on that. Like I don't think there's like I think there are sort of like I guess a little bit of social pressures on women to be more feminine and men to be more masculine, etc. Like I growing up have felt these pressures, I guess, to some degree. Like men are supposed to like shove everything deep down inside and hide their emotions and be strong for the household and be the rock, and you're not supposed to be emotional. You're not supposed to show any kind of weakness or femininity. So I can agree that there are definitely some social pressures that exist. Like, so, but it still seems like
just a specific gender role.
Hey, Womp, turn on your camera. That'd be helpful. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. But I'm just saying, like, it just seems like why? Who cares? I don't know how to like. I don't think I'm doing a good job of explaining myself.
Well,
but
I think you were thinking
like,
about
who cares? Like wear a dress if you want to wear a dress. Do your nails if you want to do your nails. But why? I feel like, okay, I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but like I think we're like our technological position, like where we're at with being able to like affect our sex, our gender, whatever, is like we have like a stick and a rock, and we're like blunt forcefully like changing. Like we're only able to like administer like hormones and stuff. Like once we get to a point where I don't know if you guys have seen the show like Altered Carbon or something like that on like Netflix, where they can literally like switch bodies. They call it. You think you're stacking. Like once we get to that point, I feel like it would be more safe to like transition stuff. Like,
but
I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't. It's hard for me to like flesh out this, but it's like.
That's sex, though. So you're coming at it from the perspective of somebody who is trans and is a gender abolitionist, and you're thinking about it like, well, you just want to get rid of all these genders, so you can be whatever gender you. No, this is the feminist perspective, not the trans perspective. It's not about whether you can wear a dress or not. That's an entirely different conversation that we didn't have. That's what I don't care about.
Yeah, like I said, I came into the tail end of it too, so
yeah, no worries.
I think I missed a lot of it.
So
this person's raising their hand.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, so I think couldn't you also look at it as in like this is the now and then comment, right? So like we can make a prescription about how we want it to be in the future, and like the now is like the reason why we care about it so much is because currently it's oppressive when you wear a dress and someone applies gender roles onto you. That's the problem. It's not the problem of like in the future when we remove genders, why would we care about this? We're not making that. These are two different distinct prescriptions. We're making a prescription about the now and the future. So so the now we want to care about what other people think and how how society sees us. But in the future, we're trying to say we should remove all of this hierarchy because this hierarchy adds oppression to our system, and our end goal as humans is to try to remove oppression from our system.
Yep. But if you're progressive.
Yes, if you are progressive, yes.
But is gender in itself a hierarchy, or
yes.
are we using it as a hierarchy? It's just like saying
almost all categories are hierarchies. Inherently, we can try to not make them hierarchies. Like that's the idea of like gender equality. But like innately, they are hierarchies. All social constructs are.
What I'm saying is like it seems like the end goal for abolishing genders is also abolishing any differences in sex. So like whether a person's born a man or a woman, they need to be treated exactly the same because there's no difference.
So we just had like a long discussion about this. So one of the ways that you could enact this type of change is you could blend the differences between sex enough that there's not a like functional difference in sex. Like that's a possibility, but it's not very likely. There's always going to be people who are XX normative and people who are XY normative, right? That's always going to happen. So it's not necessarily about that. We talked about it, and we talked about how it's more of like blending what it means to be a man or what it means to be a woman and blending it out so it just is not relevant anymore. And that if you are progressive about gender, that's the natural flow of things. If we make it so that being a woman doesn't actually describe anything about you and being a man doesn't describe anything about you, then it's just no longer relevant that you identify with that category. It's just not a relevant category at some point. But that's like 50 or 100 years in the future, maybe. Right now, we need to focus on like the society that we have, and that it's patriarchal, and that we should stop that system that we have of power right now. Now, you might disagree. You might say society is not patriarchal, but then I'm just not really interested in having that conversation.
I think that matriarchy is based.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have no hierarchy like that, but hey,
I'm memeing here.
Wait, did you say the male patriarchy is based?
No, matriarchy.
Yeah,
when the woman.
Yeah, gotcha.
I couldn't hear these. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Do you think not? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, please.
Do you think not having a hierarchy is a realistic expectation for the world, though?
Yeah.
So
something.
Okay. I'm just wondering. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just wondering.
I don't know if it is realistic, but I think that having these perfect views of like where you want society to go is helpful because it gives you something to strive for. So even if it's not realistic, it's something that we want to strive for, right? We don't strive for not perfection. We strive for perfection, and then if we fail, we're somewhere where we can be proud of still, right? This is literally the argument of like shoot for the moon because you'll end up among the stars, right? Yep. So we want to make this perfect worldview because that's where we want to strive to. But if we don't get there, we're still going to make it somewhere where it's much better than we are currently.
Yeah.
Yep.
So perfection is never a reasonable end goal, right? If that's what you're looking for a unicorn.
Looking for what? Okay, so
unicorn.
Yeah, I think that's just a pretty bad faith interpretation of this. So like, I'm
just talking to the idea of perfect.
Right, but this isn't something about perfection. This is like, if your goal is not, if you don't have a strong end goal, then how are you going to work towards it? So if you're just like, yeah, I want things to be better. Okay, so how do you want them to be better? And we're describing how. And that has to be a strong goal. That's not, perfection. It's a strong goal, but it's not perfection.
So in this end goal, are we? There's no difference in how we treat men versus women. Like there's no difference.
Identifying with being a man or identifying with being a woman, saying, "Hey, I'm a woman," it shouldn't mean anything. That's the prescriptive goal.
Yeah, but and we can understand like medically, right? Like in terms of a doctor, like having male genitalia would alter maybe the way they treat you, right? Just like having high blood pressure might alter the way they treat you, or being born with some sort of congenital disease might alter the way they treat you. These are all characteristics of yourself that would go and be involved in treatment, but beyond that wouldn't be significant. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yep.
What about a strawberry? Did you understand that?
I mean, yeah, but it seems like that ignores the biological effects of testosterone on male and male behavior.
I'm just not interested in talking to gender essentialists. So this discussion. This whole discussion was about it wasn't a discussion between like somebody who's a gender essentialist and or sex essentialist, whatever you want to think of it as, and somebody who's not. It wasn't that kind of discussion. So he didn't even approach the topic of essentialism. That's what you're describing. That's the position you're describing, where you say that the biological effects of testosterone have some larger effect than the social effects. That's just not what we were talking about. That's a bigger discussion. We can have that discussion, but that's not what the discussion was about. When we're talking about gender abolition, we're assuming that gender is not essential. It's not an essentialist property. Like, it's not like, males are like men and females are like women. We're assuming that's not true. We're assuming that those are, socially ascribed roles rather than pure biological roles. Not that testosterone doesn't have an effect. It makes you more aggressive. It does. It makes you more competitive. It does. There's minor effects for those, but I just have more faith in humans than to say that those are so significant that they're non-overcomable. So.
But
steroids, a lot of steroids, a lot of testosterone.
I think it's sort of based on.
We got a few people talking at once here.
Gender expression.
Strawberry, finish your point, and then we'll go to Paul.
I mean, if these are natural biological traits, why do they need to be overcome instead of just embraced as that's what they are? Like, they're natural.
Because they're creating an unfair hierarchy in society that's causing oppression to a whole class of people, women in this case. So, like, again, this is why this discussion is just not that interesting to me, because it's a discussion between 2 points that just don't have anything to do with each other. If your position is essentialism and your position is that, like, this is a biological, like, just natural progression, I don't care to talk about it, because we are at such fundamentally different ends of the spectrum that I'd have to educate you on everything that is involved in feminist literature, which I will do, but I don't really know that an open panel is a good format for that. It just is a big conversation.
No, I need to be educated on it. I just don't see how this end goal.
Alice, were you here like last night when this dude was doing this? Because this is like kind of like standard behavior for this gentleman.
Okay, so yeah, I just have no interest in this at all then.
Yeah,
and there's not really any reason to really go into it. I mean, if you want to talk about this, so Strawberry Coconut, you can DM me. I will happily set up literally just for you, pick a night, and I will happily talk to you individually about this. And we can talk about gender essentialism, versus the other options that exist. But I'm just not interested in it right now, because we cannot address it effectively on this panel right now. This is an open panel with, 12 people or something like that. It's just not going to be effective.
Basically.
Paul?
What Alice said about the whole steroid or testosterone making you aggressive really hit home, because when I used to do a shitload of steroids for powerlifting and whatnot, and I could tell you firsthand, you will sweat like a rainforest when you're on that shit, and you're a complete ass to literally everyone. It gets you very aggressive. It gets you, like, you think like a caveman. Like, I'm not even, it's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Taking too much testosterone can cause effects like that. Yeah. I mean, but it's more complicated. Like, I guess that's my thing.
My testosterone jumped to 2,600 in a matter of like 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
it was really high. Yeah.
Well,
what's normal?
I was in the hospital for like a year and a half afterwards, because I had fucked up my knees really bad from I was deadlifting wrong, and my kneecap on my left side kind of like just went down. So yeah, it was pretty bad.
Holy shit.
That's crazy.
What's normal levels of testosterone?
13 to 1600 is 1600 is high.
I'll do it.
Yeah, that's really high.
Yeah. And mine was at 26, so yeah, it was pretty fucked.
Yeah, that's
astonishing.
That's insane.
His heart didn't explode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, your body.
I was on a
Your body's gonna like turn it into estrogen, so your body will.
I had to get the surgery to get my man tits removed.
Yeah, I was gonna say you definitely had some side effects that were feminizing. Yeah,
that was really embarrassing, but I had to.
That's the only way you survived that, really. Those levels, you literally had to have had a pretty large amount be turned into estrogen, and your body be able to process that. There's no other option. So that's why you don't do that when people are taking
don't do steroids. 100%. Don't do
That's why it happens.
All right. Well,
unless a doctor prescribes it, don't touch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair for most medication, honestly.
Yeah.
So, all right.
It's fair for most of anything.
We don't have to stay on this particular subject, because we've already fairly covered it. with Alice and Joe. Did a bang up job there. But yeah, we can move on. So thank you, Nacho, for being here. Dr. K, Rage, Sam, and Malcolm. Yeah, that's right. Bink, Princess, I believe. Strawberry, Want, and Paul. All right. So I had another topic. This one involving the controversy around Little Nas X, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Is he him and his shoes, right? His sneakers. And so in case you don't know and don't follow these things, I don't really follow these things either, but like it made like national news, so it came on my radar. But Lil Nas X, basically he took some Nike shoes and repurposed them. He redesigned them, made them black and red. Has like a pentagram medallion on them, and he's like making them like a whole, giving this whole satanic theme. And he's also putting blood, like a drop of blood inside, apparently from the people involved in this company, just like a drop of blood. And he's making a run of these shoes, 666 pairs of them, which sold out immediately when he created them. And so this started a backlash, right? Predictably. Right? We have conservatives losing their fucking minds over this. And so Lil Nas was talking about this singer. He's a singer, in case you don't know. But he was talking about this, and he's like, well, religion, Christianity specifically, has been extremely cruel to him growing up. Lil Nas being gay, right? And basically telling him that he was an abomination, right? And so he wanted to, I guess, strike back at that whole order and talk about how ridiculous it all is. But okay, since people,
Respect.
okay, so curious,
Yeah.
is this helpful? Is this a helpful thing? Right, these types of protests, right? This is essentially a protest he's doing, right? That will earn him a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or
Making
unless
a mockery
assuming,
of Christianity? Who would dare, Prime? Who would dare do such a thing, though? It's absolutely banana
I don't.
sandwich that you would do.
Oh
such
God.
go ahead.
I don't think. Okay.
No,
Paul go first.
yeah, okay.
Paul go
Oh,
first. and
okay.
then I go
I
after.
think I'm not. I was raised in a Roman Catholic house, right? But I haven't been to church in like 6 years. I'm not a religious person, but I think that making a shoe that has red and black and a pentagram on it, you could say it's trash in Christianity, but it's just kind of edgy, I guess, if you think of it that way. I mean, conservatives are probably going to brown out about this for no reason, for, whatever religious reasons they have. But I don't think that it's very effective. I think if he would have done something else, like actually like made a song about how like whatever religion you could think of, Christianity, Islam, whatever, right?
Oh, make
It
a
was
song
like,
about it, huh?
because you would actually be vocalized instead of like some subliminal messaging on a shoe. That's what I think about it.
I mean, hey Prime, I'm your favorite like transgender gay Christian, so I've got all the tools needed to really tear this one to pieces if you'd like, mate.
Sure. But let's get Bink in first.
Think first.
Yeah, and then Nacho, and then Sam, and then Rage. Don't worry, we want to get to you, buddy. So but go ahead with Pink.
I have plenty of thoughts when it comes on to this because I'm a Christian, but I also understand the the artistic aspect of basically making your own idea of lore when it comes on to Christianity. So like for an example, you know how people like make their own like types of demons and shit like in like movies, like poltergeist movies and shit. Like I think that's pretty creative. I think that when there's like pretty sure like it's the type of like gore art that's supposed there's like that some people make that are supposed to describe demons and like hell and shit. I think that's very creative. I think that when it comes on to being critical about religion, people are really sensitive, especially Christians. And I think that what Little Nas X did in the video was pretty creative personally. And the shoe, I don't think the shoe is cute. I wouldn't wear it. But I think that like people are like overly expected. Like there's some times when it can be like perceived as disrespectful, but I do think that sometimes people are overreacting. Like for example, I'm a big Gaga fan, and like me looking back and seeing people get like so fucking triggered over Judas was like so fucking beyond me.
Yeah.
Like if you actually like look at the analogy she was making, I don't really want to go deep into it, but it was pretty based, not gonna lie. So like I feel like people are overreacting, and honestly it contributed good and harm at the same exact time, only because I feel like marginalized groups have the right to speak out about their pressure, not pressure, oppression. And I feel like at the same exact time, because of the political climate of America, it it supports the conspiracy side of like the Republican Party, basically the Republican Party. Because like when I was in middle school, I used to be on that side of YouTube, and dead ass, they'll be like, "This is the mark of the beast." When Miss Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying about the fucking vaccine, they're selling their souls to the devil.
Yeah, I mean they'll do that either way.
They're in the what is it? The New World Order. So it's just supporting that, to be honest with you. Like I don't think it's as big as people want it to be. But I also don't think it's contributing to the cause personally, as like a gay person.
Okay. Did you say as like a gay person?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'm queer. I'm not gay.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. I thought you said something differently. Okay. Nacho, Sam, Rage, and then let's go to uh, Dr. K. Sorry. Go ahead, Nacho.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely take offense to this thing. Like, look, I'm a Christian, traditional, whatever, come from that background. Like, I think there's just certain lines you don't cross. Like, I understand the shock value of it, but like twerking on the devil, knowing that this is like, admittedly in his past, he has admitted that his audience is mainly children. Like, and I watched his interview. I tried to be fair and listen to his reasoning behind this. And he's saying that he's trying to help the LGBTQ community be more accepted in society, whatever, however you want to pose it. But it's like this is exactly the ammunition that the far right needs to sell shit like QAnon and and like race supremacy, etc. Like this is exactly the kind of things that you can base this stuff around and be like, oh well, yeah, look at what the left is doing. Look at what the Democrats look at what these people support. Like look, this is the kind of stuff that they support, and it makes it that much easier to radicalize people onto the right. So I don't think we should be celebrating these kind of things, and I'm kind of happy to see. It's like I've mixed emotions about like Nike deciding to sue them, because Nike doesn't give a shit when it's like the Uyghur Muslims. You know, they're still willing to set up factories in China where Uyghur Muslims are being sent to concentration camps. Nike has no problem with dealing with China in that regard. But when it comes to their shoe being used to promote like Satan, and they know they're going to lose a large base as far as like athletes who generally tend to be like Christian, at least at a younger age through high school, college, etc. Like, and even on into professional, like, I don't know, man. It's like mixed feelings, and like I'm glad that they're suing him because this is kind of ridiculous. And if he didn't have any permission from them, because at first I was pissed at Nike, but then I don't know, man.
By the way, there is.
I just feel like personally, there's so much wrong with this. That's my stance. Like,
sorry, what?
He did make a music video, which I just watched, and it changed my mind because it was pretty fucking bad. It was fucking revolting.
Oh boy,
It's disgusting.
He was like on Satan, like giving him a lap dance with like Calvin Klein underwear or some shit, and I was like, "What the
I think it was
fuck?"
pretty hot.
Okay.
No, it was
I
pretty.
thought we were supposed to hate Satan.
oh boy.
I
No,
thought
I don't
we
give
were
a
supposed to
fuck
hate
about-
Satan. Isn't demeaning Satan like good?
No,
because
it's
we're
just
supposed to
the
hate
whole
No,
Satan?
video
I
is
feel
really
like
weird
they
acid
should've
trip
made him-
shit.
I think they should have made him hot at least.
Sorry, what?
It's not
We don't
hot.
hate.
Sorry,
Satan,
would you say, Bink? He should have done.
I said they should have made Satan hot at least.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure.
And Satan, fuck that
He was
guy.
on fire, but
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
wasn't Lucifer supposed to be like a 10?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, Satan is hot. Like canonically in the Bible, he is fucking like a real looker.
Yeah, he's
Well,
supposed
yeah,
to be
wasn't there like
the
a Satan
hottest.
statue
Technically,
that was, like, too
Lucifer
hot
is an
they had to get rid
attractive
of?
person. Yes.
Like they kept making the
That'd be
Lucifer
funny.
statue too sexy, or was that a Jesus statue? I don't remember. There was like a statue they kept fucking up because they kept making it
Yes,
like
they're
too
funny.
hot.
You guys are a bunch of degenerates. Okay.
True.
Okay, so
Nacho, I
dog
am the
whistles
degenerate.
aside, right?
So okay. So what about that music video? Which I haven't seen. I've seen part of the.
You
lap
should watch it,
dancing.
Prime.
I've seen the part of the lap dancing on
Be
the.
careful, it might make you gay.
Yeah,
Even
it's
the
terrible.
beginning it's just I don't even have anything. I don't have anything against homosexuals or nothing. I could care less what you do. It's just really fucking weird the way the music video is shot and the lyrics of the song and like the story it's trying to portray is really fucking weird.
Well, awesome for you, dude. You don't have to watch it.
So
It's just
Okay,
no,
so
but it's the
I-
fact that other people are taking it seriously is pretty fucking disgusting.
Yeah, but you're
why-
selling
why-
this to children.
Yeah,
That's
Admittedly, selling this to children
So
too. Like, I mean,
No.
so
Didn't he just like make a Christmas
so
song?
this is pearl clutching. Oh, think of the children type thing, right? So
No, like
we could do
Look,
that for
I mean,
literally
yeah.
any video, right? So anything. Adults can't have these things because some kid somewhere might watch it. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, the fact that this is spread mainly on social media. I mean, I think there's a
Yeah.
problem with social media influencing our children. Period. In general, like point blank. Like it doesn't have to be. And let's be clear. Like it doesn't have anything to do with it being gay. Like,
Yeah, I don't
that's
care
fine.
less.
The fact that he's dancing to the devil, which is the devil is like Satan is a symbol of evil.
So
Of
so what does it
So-
so no
You would- so you-
I
your
wanna
children
understand
watching-
this.
like,
What
no,
about
I
you
wanna-
doing?
That's a
Hold
religion
hold
just
not yet.
shouldn't have a Satan.
I just really want to understand this. I want to understand this.
That was good.
Why is him dancing on a guy in a red costume?
No. It's clearly
Oh,
supposed to be
Nacho.
No,
Satan.
I got that. I got
And him
that. No, I got
kills
that. Yeah,
Satan at the
sure.
end,
Yes.
Okay.
But
murders
You're trying
why?
to say
Why?
he's
Hold
doing
on,
Satan's
hold on,
work.
hold on. I'm just trying to ask you this. So, guy in a red costume, right? Yes, it's supposed to be Satan. I get that, obviously, right? But why is that act apparently so offensive to you?
I mean, okay, if you walked in on your kid like watching a video of somebody twerking on Satan, would you
that's-
not be
so
concerned?
You can keep trying.
If I
the,
saw my kid twerking
can-
or
you-
watch
hold on,
seeing
hold on.
him watch a video
You
about that
can-
in
you can-
general.
I'm just trying to
hold on.
ask.
Everyone,
I'm
hold on,
sorry if
stop,
I'm
hold on.
getting
It's
out.
weird.
So,
This upsets me, so I'm trying to be like civil.
Yeah, so it's funny. It's amazing
Sorry.
that this is upsetting you so much. What are you doing, Dr. K? What are you doing? I don't understand what's happening here.
okay.
I'm trying to fix my lighting because
Can I
it's
say
fucking up
something real
weirdly.
quick?
I want to respond to this, and then I'll love to hear what you have to say. Bink. Yeah. But I'll respond to this. Like, if I saw my kid watching this, I wouldn't be like. First of all, if I had a problem with this type of content, then I'd be more on top of what my kid watches in the first place, right? So that would be on me, right?
And
Like
then
I don't rely on other people to. I wouldn't rely on other people to raise my children, right? Like
Fair.
and protect
but
them. So like the kid thing doesn't mean much to me at all, right? And also, like, I think we're just too puritanical and to begin with in how we treat children, that like they can't handle these concepts. I mean, they see violence and gore all the time, right? But the thing is something that's the least bit sexual, like, oh no.
Yeah, but do they have to? Only because we normalize these things. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's not
I
just
don't-
that.
they're not
Like, I don't think we should be
normalized.
normalizing any of these things.
It's
as far
not-
as
People
children
aren't
go.
complaining because it's sexual. There's plenty of sexual.
Yeah.
They're complaining because
No,
a guy's
this is
twerking
the
on the
issue.
devil.
Again,
and selling
why does that
below
matter?
shoes.
Sorry.
But they
You
do
haven't
complain
answered
about
that question.
sexual.
You haven't answered. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Can I point out hypocrisy? Okay, so I'm a Christian, and I said that already. the problem I have is that, so how can we get upset at demons and the devil being portrayed, right? When we consider those in the lore to be pure evil, basically evil embodied, right? To some extent, right? So if that's what we see them as, in being like overly sexual and like sexual to a harmful extent is considered to be evil, why are we not talking about how
Well,
to some extent angels are portrayed that way too?
what if
Like
he
why
was
are we upset at demons and
what if he was
devils
twerking on
instead of
Hitler?
angels?
Are those the same
That's not what
thing?
happened.
Hold on, are those the same thing?
Yeah, I
No,
would
they're
say
not
so.
the same thing
Like,
because
like Satan is a
no,
representation.
I'm not even entertaining
here's where we're going to differ.
Satan is a representation of pure
lost me.
evil. If I had to pick someone who's existed that I know through history who is pure evil, I would pick Satan. I mean, I would pick
Wait,
Hitler.
hold on.
Oh God!
To conflate
Wait,
with
Nacho,
Satan.
Okay,
Nacho,
so
here's
so
the
here
question: Would you
Satan-
rather
so hold on,
Hitler
so hold on.
if
or Satan to be
That's
real
the
again?
question. If he was twerking on Hitler, would you still be like,
Okay.
so what?
Okay, so I'll answer that question. Then I'll go.
Yeah,
I'll go
actually, I wouldn't
I'll
care.
go to Bink. And then I gotta go down that list. Because there are other people who have been waiting. So.
Oh, I was just asking if what my question like made sense.
Such
That
as
made sense?
Dr. K.
I guess like you're saying like angels can sometimes be like we'll have like for instance the Victoria's Secret fashion show, and then we'll portray people as quote unquote angels, right? And why we don't actually
Yeah,
have a problem with
angels
that.
are supposed to be like pure
Yeah,
and good.
yeah. I think
So
these
like,
things.
why are you not upset at
Wasn't the
I
angels?
think these things are hypocritically applied. Yeah, like they're not consistently applied. So I would agree with you there. That like these things don't mean
Christian doctrine
anything.
has
But hold on. Let me finish answering this, and then I'm going to go down this list because there's a lot of people waiting. I want to make sure we get there. One, here's my problem, and here's the big problem of all this, right? From what I gather about LilNas, and I could be incorrect, so someone can correct me in chat. I don't follow celebrity news, so I'm only like just doing my best to get a handle on this. All I follow is that this guy has dropped Christianity, right? He's dropped that, right? So like he's not really concerned about these things, right? So you're saying first of all, like, oh, what's the difference between him dancing on Hitler and him dancing on Satan? One, I wouldn't get upset about either of these things, right? Like it's an expression of art, right? And just because he's dancing on like a Hitler doesn't mean he's endorsing Hitler, right? It could be a way of humiliating Hitler because Hitler didn't like, for instance, homosexuals, right? That wasn't a big fan. The Nazi Party wasn't a big fan of them. So so that I think would actually be pretty good, pretty subversive there. And on the side, these two aren't the same, because Hitler was a real person who did real bad things, who actually hurt individuals on a scale of millions, and the devil's imaginary. So you're talking about this embodiment, right? So this was an embodiment from another culture, right? Some embodiment of evil, right, from another culture, right? One whose practices you didn't share, right? Maybe from some Native American culture, with their, if they had some sort of embodiment of evil, some sort of adversary, right? This would not be a blip. No one would be talking about this at all, like at all, right? So it's something that you seem to find culturally meaningful, right? And you're like, well, how could you disrespect the thing that I find culturally meaningful? Like, it's important to me. It's not important to him.
I don't think it's I wouldn't say that it's disrespectful to like my position. I just think that that would definitely be equal to like that would be you'd be able to conflate this with dancing on like Hitler. Like I think there are the symbolism is a symbolism. Like
I think
these are
it is
things
a good example.
that represent the most repulsive evil in society. And to be like and if you're dancing on them, you are endorsing them. Like I get what you're saying.
No, it's not.
The reason people have such a
stop.
Go ahead.
We just we got a list here, so I'm gonna go down this list because we got Sam, Rage, Dr. K, Durham. We'll put you on the list after that. Anyone else? So I know. All right.
Yeah, I have.
Paul, you want to be on the list? Okay, I'll put you on the list. All right. So let's go to Sam. Please.
Okay, sorry to go back to this, but talking about the shoes as like a form of protest, this has been done, but I don't know how many people are into shoe culture, but like there's a shoe known as the menthol 10s, which was created by a designer as protest against two of the companies that he worked for. He was a designer. He worked for Newport and Nike. So he made menthol 10s, which were using the color scheme of Newport and using the Newport logo, and Nike sued the shit out of him. He has to personally buy shoes whenever they go on the market and destroy them if he possibly can. That is legally what he was prescribed. Okay, so like this idea that like like the protest, it seems to not really work that well because these companies have a lot of outreach, and I don't know if this was like the best way to protest. That's all I wanted to say.
But what do you mean he has to destroy them? Like if
he
he
has
buys,
to destroy them.
Not,
He has to destroy them legally.
so if he
The
buys a
court has
pair
told
of
him
shoes, what do you
he has to make
mean?
sure they don't exist.
Oh, all I was going to say is that it's true. It's
That's
not
fucked.
the best way to protest because technically you're. I haven't watched the genius of it, like the interview, but from what the lyrics seem like and the way I saw the song, it doesn't seem like they're like talking about the same thing. And if that makes sense, like the whole bashing of gays by Christian, that doesn't seem like it's very like explicit, or you can notify that it's a metaphor without actually looking at the lyrics. So here's what I was saying.
So okay, let's go to Rage, Dr. K, Durham, and Paul.
Okay, so I grew up Christian. I went to a Christian school for like 12 years. I went to Sunday school. I had all the Christian stuff, like Bible retreats. I went to but to me, I didn't even know this was like a big controversy. Not just because I didn't know about it, but when you said they had human blood in it, I thought that was what we were going to be talking about. Because I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then like people getting upset about art, that just blows my mind. Maybe it's because I lean like more towards like freedom of expression, but like people getting like it. He danced with the devil. He made a Satan shoe. So what? I don't know. It not no. I mean, I don't personally mean offense to people who got upset. Like they may be good people or whatever. But like to me, if your faith is like rocked because somebody made a shoe and danced with like somebody on screen, that's a question of your faith. You gotta check that out with yourself. However, in terms of it being pragmatic as a protest, I don't think it's very effective. Sam gave an example
Can we
of
ask
what
what you think that protest is, Rage? Because I think everyone has a different opinion on what this is. I put it out there as a protest, but I don't. I'm curious if everyone has the same opinion on what exactly is being protested. But go ahead.
From because this is the first time I've come into contact with it, so I have to research more to see what he actually said. But from what I gather, it's a protest against Christianity because Christianity has like a really bad track record with the LGBT community. That's what I'm gathering it as a protest. As to stick it to people, say in a, I guess not satire, or like that type of thing.
Yeah.
I just don't find it very effective. Not only because the shoe company can just like sue you, but and I'll always go back to this. We live in a really polarized time, and it was actually something that American Nacho said. Giving your opposition ammunition, I don't think that's the best way to protest, especially in something that's he's not protesting he's not protesting like police brutality and doing something that's effective, like I don't know, like going on a march. That seems like a more productive protest. Doing something just to poke fun at somebody seems to me not as entertainment. It's cool, but
it's just counterproductive.
But no, okay, no. Again, so this is important. This is important, right? Because you're saying counterproductive, but counterproductive to what? So you said ammunition, Rage, right? Specifically, you said giving the other side ammunition. Yeah. Well, ammunition to do what, right? Like, what did he actually make?
Okay, so the way I would see it is you have a lot of really conservative people, really far right, alt right, neo Nazis, and people who hate gay people, and they're like, "Oh, we don't like these people because they want to destroy our culture." And then you have somebody whose protest, as their form of protest, is making fun of their culture, and they can point to that and say, "See, that's exactly what they want to do. They want to make fun of our culture. They want to destroy the foundations of our society." Now, I don't really think that making a shoe or dancing is actually attacking. It's not a real thing. But alt-right will view it as that, and they can radicalize more of their people by pointing to that as an example. So that's why I think that it's
They can radicalize more moderates and centrists too. It's not just people who are on the far right who are Christians. There are Democrats that are Christian. There are people who are on the left that are Christians. There are people who are in the center that are Christian. There are people center right that are Christian. So it's like you're making it easier.
What does this do to them? Go ahead.
It's a lot.
Well, I'm just pointing out that, like to Rage's comment, like you're making it easier for that alt right and the far right to get a grasp on those people and be like, yeah, see, we told you
anyway.
We told you this is what we're doing. Like,
yeah,
I get what you're saying, but why make it easier? Why encourage this type of behavior?
Because it doesn't matter what people do.
They go full Steve anyways, dude.
Like the whole with the Super Bowl with Beyonce, where she did like the rainbow colors and shit. That was like trying to brainwash kids into being gay because there was like a fucking rainbow flag at the Super Bowl performance. Like it doesn't matter. Like the only solution would be like us just not existing, or us just like not existing like an outward way.
My thing is, I wouldn't say that people. I think if he wanted to do that and he did, more power to him. I'm just saying, as a protest, I don't find it productive. I think there's better outlets.
It doesn't have to be a protest, though. Yeah.
Surely you see the difference between displaying the rainbow flag and selling shoes with literal human blood as you dance on Satan.
Oh man.
No, that's the same. Only people that are mad about this are like super old and don't understand like memes.
Who said this
or
was a
like
protest? Because I may just be confused. Somebody in on the panel.
It's a fucking protest, dude. It's just a
Prime did. In the question, Prime said it's a protest. Okay, so I'm working within the framework of the question.
Yeah, and this is a protest.
Like a personal.
But you have to understand, we're making it very political. But this is a young. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's very young. So if he sees something he doesn't like in society and he wants to address it or respond to it, and he's an artist, I don't think he has to go as far as we're going in his thought process to make it a protest or to make it, this political statement. He's just reacting and showing something he doesn't like. He wants to poke fun at it. That's what he's doing. Like I don't think.
Sorry. One at a time, because we got a list. We got to move down this list. Sorry. The next person on the list. Sorry.
There was something else I wanted to.
Oh, okay. Finish your point then.
I talked about polarization, ammunition. Satan as a symbol. I can understand the whole comparison with Hitler, because like Hitler is an embodiment of evil. In Christianity, Satan is the embodiment of evil. I do agree with Prime that they're not the same, because Satan is symbolic in like mythological instant. Like there isn't like a human named Satan that committed all these atrocities. We don't teach our kids about Satan in the historical sense. It's like a religion, theology, that sort of thing. So it's not the same. Like there's no family members that you can point to and say like these people lived through this time. It's not the same as Hitler.
Satan.
Yeah, it's archaic.
But even then, like, I mean, I'm an anime fan. I like anime. In anime, there are tons of depictions of demons, and they're like they're sometimes the good guys. And like, I don't consider that, oh, you're making fun of Christianity. It's like it's art. Like you can use demons to be the heroes, and the angels can be the villains. I don't care. It's art. And so like taking that concept and saying, oh, this is an attack on Christianity, or this is offensive, I don't relate to that.
Yeah.
Can I be in line for wherever?
Okay, sure.
If I can, real quick, I was just gonna say, like 70% of the U.S. population it identifies as Christian today. So it's not like you're not just like attacking like a small subset.
Actually, it's less than 50.
It's like 200. It's like 205 million people, isn't it?
And even then,
no, it's
300.
And then
so it's actually Prime. May I?
Hold on.
It's actually 50% that identify with any religious denomination, let alone Christian, right? And that number is actually falling. So to say 75% is absurd.
And furthermore, you're saying like, oh, this is attack on the mall. This is not an attack on the mall. We have a Christian right here. Rage comment was like, I'm not offended by this, right? Like, this is art. This is art, right? So other people. So like to say that. once again, conservative Christians are losing their fucking minds over this. This is true, and a few others, not just conservative Christians, but mostly them are losing their minds over this. So like, but you can't extrapolate that to the entire group. Not everyone considers it offensive. So let's put that out there. Let's.
Yeah, but how many people have seen this either?
Yeah, but it doesn't. Also, there's. Oh man, I just really want to engage in this topic, but we got to move down this list. But like, I would say people should be offended. Fuck, God, all right, we're gonna fight on this topic. Don't worry, but I have to move down this list. So we're gonna go Dr. K, then we're gonna Durham, Paul, then Doghouse.
Wait, what happened to me?
Oh, I'll put you at the very end.
Yeah, you can talk twice before I do, dude. It's all good.
Yeah. So Dr. K.
Yeah, no, I've been shutting my bitch ass up. Like, I've got a lot to fucking say here, right?
Please
like,
go ahead. Yeah.
Any fucking like I am very Christian, right? I am very open about it. I am also a transgender communist, and if you get offended by a fucking music video, you are a fucking clown. You are a clown, right? There are certain things with religions, right? The no pass zones, right? And then the guy who I'm actually calling out, oh, okay, he's not leaving. All right. But like there are certain bars, right, for religions where generally, yeah, don't violate these certain things, right? If it's Islam, don't draw the prophet. If it's Hinduism, don't feed them beef. You know, the basic fucking respect kind of stuff, right? Where you affect, them, right? Like don't do these basic things. It shows respect, right?
Well, obviously, if you're Christian, at the end of the day, you should get over it. But that doesn't mean that you should be okay.
Oh no,
with it.
it's all right. It's all good. So you were called on to talk now, right? Like,
So
right.
Please let Dr. K finish.
Yeah,
Please,
no,
go
Prime.
ahead.
It's all good. It's all good. So like Christians have those areas too where it's like, yeah, don't cross these certain things, right? Like don't disrespect the places of worship. Like that's a line you don't cross, right? You don't like put Jesus on the cross upside down, shit like that, right? Like those are things if you do, you are showing active disrespect for these people and are just being malicious for like no fucking reason, right? And that's when you cross the line into being a dick. But like, like satanic imagery, right? Like there's been no historic problem with him being portrayed in a comedic manner, in him being portrayed in an artistic manner. At almost any point, like you're just making us think of it now because of the factors that surround what he's doing, right? And that it is, you feel like he's taking the piss out of your religion. It's like, well, like you can take the fucking piss out of religions, right? Like that's sort of a part and parcel for
Isn't that the opposite
art,
of what
right?
you just said, though?
Again, there are certain boundaries, I would say, that cross the line into disrespect for no fucking reason. And that's when you start. No, Prime, I get it. Like you fucking
no. It sounds like this.
You're terrible at respecting people's religions, and it's all
no.
good.
I'm trying to understand the difference here. Well, first of all, I don't give a fuck about anyone's religion. I will disrespect. Hold on. Stop. I don't give a fuck about anyone's religion. But I'm understanding what the difference here. About it. I'm sorry. It's just like you're drawing these lines. And I want you to clarify these lines.
Yeah,
like, and why is the one? So why is
doctrine.
Nacho is saying that dancing on the devil, give a devil a lap dance, is like specifically offensive, right? He finds that very offensive.
No doctrine about that.
But yeah, there's no doctrine about that. But there's no doctrine about like turning the cross upside down, right? Like and Jesus upside down.
There is, in fact.
Is there?
I forget which fucking verse, but there is fucking.
I think they actually.
Peter, if I might bring some historical reality into this.
So then, what is different about the upside down cross and the symbolism there versus like worshiping the devil? Like I don't even understand what you're.
He's not.
You say you're Christian, and you know the verses, relating to this.
You stupid son, he's not worshiping the devil.
Oh man, too many people. So I can't even understand this anymore. Okay, all right. So one at a time. All right. So anyway, so just draw this bright line for us, right? So you're saying like if there is some a a verse,
if there's a
that
commonly
specifically
enforced like doctrine about it, like then yeah, that's disrespectful when you start busting that open.
commonly enforced. So, like for instance, the thing about like wearing mixed fabrics or whatever, right?
Yeah,
That's
like
not,
nobody fucking cares.
but it's in there. So if you're saying the other thing
It's
is in there,
but like
you
it's
just
not
don't
enforced,
respect your
right?
own religion. I mean,
Commonly enforced.
there's also an injunction in all Abrahamic faiths against making any image of anything in the heavens and any living being. And anybody who doesn't
and guess
follow
what?
that
Doctrine changes over
is
time.
disrespecting their covenants with an eternal God don't change over time. And a lot of Christians like to play games with the covenants made, but that just means you don't take your own religion serious.
I mean, the entire point of the Pope, right, is that he's supposed to be like fucking, the envoy to that guy, and like is able to say like, oh, okay, things do in fact change.
Is
for
everyone
the time
Catholic?
that they're relevant to.
Is everyone
right?
Catholic?
I'm Catholic.
But is everyone?
I mean,
Catholic?
I you know
We
what?
love Pope
I'll
Francis.
agree with you that the Orthodox and the Catholic faiths are the only actual forms of Christianity that have any form of legitimacy. That's fine.
No, Protestants are completely legitimate.
Protestants are totally illegitimate. They broke away from the church. They're not Christians.
Oh boy. No. Let's not do it. Stop right there. We don't want to do that. Hold on. We don't. I'm not going to go down that road. We can go down some
But
other
the
time.
Pope doesn't have the authority to change the basic covenants that were made between the tribes of Israel and their God.
We're starting to go down a different route, though.
Man, that's like a 24-hour debate.
Yeah, that's another thing.
That's covering like.
Yeah, like
Okay.
that's a big fucking side.
That would get half the people banned off Twitch.
No, well, I don't think it would go on, but I would say that. But the point here still stands. He's trying to make the same point, is that it seems like you're being highly inconsistent and just like cherry picking, which is what most modern Christians do.
Humans are highly inconsistent.
Yeah, but this is what most modern Christians do: is they cherry pick what they're going to be offended of or what they're going to enforce. Like, oh, sure, this is the thing. Like, I don't like gay people, so this is the thing that I'm going to be worried about. So like this, I'm just trying to get you. Stop! Shut up! Don't worry, I can mute you all, so then we can do it with some at a time. All right. So I just want you to be consistent. Like, what is this line here that you're trying to draw?
I mean, it's one, right? Like, let's understand right now, it's not going to be consistent because humans and religions and our social systems are like always inconsistent in how they behave and how they interact with each other, right? So let's get the idea that everything's going to be cut and dry and like exactly the same enforced overall, like out of the books, right? But like we understand generally, like there's an unwritten line of when it is crossed, right? Like if I would say essentially there's a big blurry line, right? And then there are areas where you have crossed and you haven't, right? If you're making fun of the cross, if you're making fun of a priest, right? That's kind of a gray area, right? If you are defacing a house of worship on purpose, right? That's everyone's going to be like, yeah, that crosses the fucking line. You don't do that, right?
That's also against the law. So
exactly that too.
Right? That's a different thing, though. But finish your point, Dr. K.
US,
I think there
finish. Dr. K.
Not a lot of
Dr. K. I want to make sure.
but...
Dr. K. I want to make sure you finish your point first. Have you finished your point?
Mm-hmm.
You finished your point? Okay. Have you finished your point?
I'm just like, no. I can't believe that there is a fucking sect of Christians who are getting offended about this, and that Christians, might I add, are, and like the far right is always going to fucking like dogpile and throw as much shit as possible at LGBT people, no matter what.
It has nothing to do with LGBTQ.
I didn't ask you. Wow,
that was loud.
Oh yeah, no need to yell into.
I'm sorry, this uppity trans person made you so angry.
Okay, all right.
That was a good one.
But genuinely, like the far right and Christians are going to be like aggressively against gay people no matter what we do. So the idea that we have to like, play to their feelings and try to like appease them at every angle we can is utterly ridiculous, and I don't believe that they have to do that.
So
in any way, shape, or form.
I'm gonna move on down this
put
list.
Boundaries on art is bullshit.
I'm gonna move down this list. I feel like you've been completely inconsistent on all of this.
Yeah.
I just utterly, totally everything you said. Like you say one thing and then immediately you go the opposite direction.
Okay.
But okay, all right.
Can I get thrown on? Can I get thrown on the list?
Yeah, you're on the
whenever
list, Malcolm. You're on the list. So
Thanks, man.
now we'll go to Durham, Paul, Dog, and Blink, and then Malcolm.
Rough.
Sorry.
Okay, all what it says, you guys keep talking about how it's a thin line between this and that. Is it? It's not. It's very obvious as to what's okay and what's not okay. Using the Hitler example, if I was a small town SoundCloud rapper and I have a YouTube music video with 500 views where I have a rap battle with Hitler, would you have me on the podcast? A little weird, little edgy, maybe, whatever. If I have an online store selling swastika armbands, okay, completely different thing. But it's exactly the same as what's happening in this case. No one gives a crap that somebody made a music video with the devil. That happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Other than crazy
AC/DC
fundamentalists that live in the mountains, nobody cares that you displayed the devil. It's not a big deal, whatever. But when you literally start selling clothes with the blood in it, that's the
Well, you don't have to
equivalent
buy
of
it,
the
dude.
swastika armband. Well, of course you don't have to buy
Hitler
it.
was real
But
and
that's
killed people.
Look, but if you're religious, you think Satan is real. That's
But sorry, hold on. Okay,
like
but
not.
so the point is that other religions have other things that they think are sacred, right? And then you may be breaking those things all the time, but you don't think they're real, so it's not important to you, correct?
There's
Right?
a-
Like if
there's
there's,
a-
if there's another religion,
that's a
if there's
personal
one
action.
second, hold on a second. This is to Durham. If there is another religion, right, that says something you commonly do, is sacrilegious. Like for instance, polluting the earth, right? Which is, I'm sure if we analyze your life, we can see you polluting plenty, right? Just like any other American. And I'm not sure if you're American. If we analyze and then that's against their religion, how could you start burning fossil fuels and pollute the great Mother Earth, right? Wouldn't that? Should you respect them, or should you just live your life the best you can?
Well, I guess the difference is doing something that inadvertently goes against someone's religion versus a blatant fuck you to someone's religion.
Okay. So
grinding on Satan and blood shoes is a blatant fuck you, right? If you don't believe in Jesus, that's whatever. But Satan has blood shoes that you release 666 of and you grind on Satan. That's like a direct insult.
Okay,
I
so
was gonna say, even if you don't believe in Jesus, I think it's still an insult to the people that do.
I want to be sure. So I'm trying to. And don't worry, I got Pyro, a Beard. I have you on the list, and Nacho on the list.
Long list.
Yeah, it's a long list. There's a lot of people here. It's a long list. So
I know it's good.
all right. So in terms of for instance, the drawing the Prophet Muhammad, right? People should absolutely not do that. I just want to make sure we're understand where your
Why?
thoughts are.
If you do it, you're.
There's no injunction for non-Muslims.
I think
Even
that one's
in the,
okay.
Even in the Muslim religion, there is no injunction for non-Muslims.
Whoa, we got to go back.
Why is that one okay?
Why is that
but the-
okay?
Oh god.
Durham?
Why?
No,
Is it 'cause
I'm
it's
not talking to
your
you,
religion.
Durham.
Is that why?
No, it's not because
Durham.
you're there. If you, I don't know, spray paint the caricature of Muhammad on a mosque, that's obviously fucked up.
How would you know if it was Muhammad?
But
You
that's
could
not.
just
Well, I
say
guess-
it's
I
not.
guess you
It
Sorry,
could
one
be a stick man.
at a time. Durham, please. Well, why
But
is
the
that
point
okay?
is, if you don't follow religious tenets because you just don't agree with them, that's okay, right? All of us, even if you're religious, we don't agree with the other religions. That's fine. But if you purposely do something for no other reason than to say fuck you to that religion,
Okay. So
that's messed up.
Okay. In France, the one guy, the teacher who got beheaded, right? He wasn't.
Charlie Hebdo.
No, that's not the teacher. No, that's That's
No.
a magazine. No.
just kidding.
So the teacher who got
He shouldn't have done it.
beheaded. Hold
People
on.
shouldn't have
Hold
murdered
on.
him. There we
Holy
go.
shit! Please don't do that. Stop. Stop. I'll mute you all, and we'll just do it one at a time that way if we have to. Stop. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the teacher who got beheaded, he wasn't trying to specifically offend. All right, like from his lesson plan, like he put the face of the Prophet Muhammad up, but he wasn't. His goal wasn't specific to offend, but people were offended. Like you shouldn't have that up any which way, right? Like period at all. Doesn't matter what your intent was. It's still offensive, right? Like the fact that you did it, your intent doesn't matter. It's still offensive, right? So, are you saying that if, for instance, LilNasX did all the exact same things, right, but not as a fuck you to Christianity, right? Just because he felt like it's like, yeah, well, I feel like I want to make a video about tricking on the devil. I'm not gonna offend. I don't mean to offend any Christians. No, certainly not. But I just feel like doing this. I feel like making these shoes, right? So that would be okay.
Well, you guys brought up anime as an example. I know it. Obviously, priests don't watch anime. It's a fringe example. But Christians, other than crazy fundamentalists, don't give a shit about anime because it's so far detached. It's whatever. They just use the lore. It's not a big deal. But when, like that music video, it was kind of a specific fuck you.
But no. But you said intent, so all that doesn't matter, right? You said intent, right? Like, or at least that's what you're implying. And that like the purpose is to say "f you," right? So again, you can make the exact same thing and not have the intent, right? Just like this is the art. This is what I felt like doing. This was what inspired. I got inspired one day, and this is what I came up with. So is that okay?
It's a gray area, but he used like the Christian lore, if you will.
Yeah. So okay.
I mean, I don't personally think
Muhammad
it's a big deal. I think
Muhammad is the Islamic lore, right? Well,
yeah.
He was actually a real person, but so there's that.
Christians literally misappropriate Jewish lore every day when they talk about Satan as a being. So, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't expect other people to follow your religious laws, especially when your own religious laws don't mandate that people who don't follow your religion follow your laws.
Yeah,
the Muslims have no right to tell anybody to not draw Muhammad because in their own religious law, it only says Muslims cannot draw Muhammad. Christians have no right to
understand Nick. Muhammad is a real person. Isn't right?
Yeah. So Durham. What exactly is an offensive part of all this? So you're saying, oh, now that's a gray area. Now you're not so sure. But like if you're saying that drawing the Prophet Muhammad is something that you can do, then I don't see how this on the other side, right? Like if you're
I guess where we draw the line is I don't give a shit. Most Christians don't give a shit. It doesn't really matter.
It sounded
like
nobody
cares if you depict Satan. Some people are upset because they did take it a bit too far. Using the France example, drawing Muhammad is one thing. Broadcasting it in the middle of the streets is another thing. That one's a little more iffy. But I guess the entire music video, the entire marketing strategy, everything revolved around doing what Christian people wouldn't want you to do. And I do still think it's silly to get too upset over. It's not really a big deal. But I do understand why people will be pissed off, mainly because the people that are pissed off at that are probably pissed off because they feel attacked in general. That's a whole other thing. But as much as I don't know anyone that's personally upset about it, I do kind of get why some people would get their britches in a bunch, but I will say that it's mostly overreacting.
Oh man,
okay.
I'm ready.
Don't worry, we're going down the list. Yeah, I feel like I feel like a lot of inconsistencies here, but still, thank you for sharing that. All right, so we gotta go to Paul, Dog, Blink, Malcolm, Pyro, Beard, Nacho, and then at the end, our good friend Kobe. Hey, Kobe. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's go to Paul.
All right, I think that people are overreacting just a tad bit. if I understand you don't want your kids seeing, anyone twerking on anyone, right? But guess what? People go on the internet, you see a lot of crazy shit, and you can't really control what other people look at. So it's not like I don't think it's about offending Christians. I mean, I guess some Christians could be like butthurt or whatever if they really want to be, but I don't think that should determine whether this guy has the right or not to post a fucking music video about, his beliefs. Like if there was a how do you say? There was like a Muslim guy, right? And he pissed someone off, so or how do you say? Say there was a person who followed Islam, no longer follows Islam, and did this with him in an art class drawing Muhammad. Yeah, Muslim people have a right to get mad, but it shouldn't determine whether this is allowed to be on the internet or not. There's a lot worse shit that is on the internet and in the world in general that you could construe into being offensive than a fucking rap video of a guy twerking on like a guy in a fucking red face paint. Like Jesus Christ. That's all I had to say.
Much agreed. Okay, so we're gonna go to Doghouse, who I haven't seen in such a long time. Interesting.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. It's interesting that this is the thing that drew you back into my arms, but
yeah, I don't know how this ended up drawing me back into there, but fuck it, I'm here.
All right, but as always, we're thankful to have you around, Doghouse. I hope you and the family are doing well.
I'm doing good. No, so I just wanted to kind of like look at this from above, and no pun intended here, but I think that here's the thing is having grown up Christian and things like that. Look, my belief has always been when it comes to any kind of music, because let's be real here, this whole Satan music video thing is not just one thing that's been attacked by Christians. It's a whole slew of things, right? It's rap music, it's pornography, it's a bunch of different things that my view on these things is, look, at the end of the day, if it's what leads you away from Christ, then you probably shouldn't watch it. If you watch it and you engage in it and it leads you away, then you probably shouldn't engage in it. Now, here's the question I raise, because I've seen a lot of different proposals about, well, this is an artistic expression, but then it's followed up by these qualifiers. And here's how I would say this is, I hear a lot of, well, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, but I've heard no real solution. Like, if we're saying that this LilNasX video is so bad, what are the proposed solutions to this video? I've heard very little in the way. I don't know if we should be, are we trying to say, well, this video is bad, we should block it, age restrict it? What are we proposing here?
I didn't think it was.
If we're gonna block a video of a guy twerking, then the internet's gonna be shut down.
Yeah, buddy, Doghouse. I hadn't posed this as a problem that needed to be solved, but maybe you think of it as a problem that needs to be solved.
I'm not saying it's a problem that
It
needs to be
is.
solved. My personal opinion on this whole matter is, like I said at the very beginning, honestly, look.
Wait, hold on. It is?
Wait, son, are you pro censorship now?
I didn't say it was a problem.
Not you.
I'm
The
sorry.
other guy.
No, the
Are
other.
we any Ron?
Who said it is?
Like,
I didn't even hear.
Nacho said it was.
Someone just said it is, and I'm like, wait,
don't
are
worry.
we in Russia now? Is it illegal to be gay?
So that
definitely
means
gonna
the
get back
cartel video is a problem.
We're gonna get back to Nacho. Definitely. So
Yeah,
we'll get a chance. But go ahead,
well,
Doghouse.
me and Nacho may disagree on this, but here's what I'm trying to say here, right? I don't necessarily think it's a problem. I think that, at the same time, I think my personal opinion on this is that I don't even think it's bad. I don't think that what he did, I think what he did more than anything seems to be like I do with the whole Dr. Seuss book and a lot of these other things, is I think that it may be possibly a attention grab more than anything. He's got tons of views on this thing. I think he's benefiting from this hugely. The fact that we're even discussing this just goes to show how much this has kind of garnered attention. I really don't see that it's necessarily a problem, but I'm saying to those who do think it's a problem, what is your proposed solution? Those who don't think it's a problem and thinks that it's just another artistic expression, well, then my question would be is, do you believe that holds true across the board? And it seems to be that most people have, like I said earlier, said that, oh, it's not a problem because it's just a video. But then they followed up, like with Prime has said, a bunch of different qualifiers as to
what qualifiers?
Well, okay, wait. It's not all about a video.
What qualifiers did I don't.
No, I'm not saying you. No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not saying you were the one that was issuing qualifiers. I'm saying other people on the panel have said that it's just a video or it's just this, but then usually followed up with qualifiers, which then means it's not just a music video because there's other qualifiers that would say that it's good or bad. And the problem with qualifiers in this particular conversation is everything is purely subjective on this, right? I mean, it depends on your worldview and depends on your moral compass as to what you believe is right or wrong. And we're going to go around in circles arguing what we believe based on our moral compass, and it's not going to really lead anywhere personally.
If you want to know the solution, as someone from literal Soviet Russia, the solution is let them make the music videos, let Christians be mad about it and bitch about it on the internet. That's how you know you have a free society. If one of them gets banned, fuck that. People should be able to complain on the internet. We should be able to have this panel where we bitch about arbitrary music videos for 3 hours. That's how you know you're free speech.
So let's go. Let's go to. Are you done, Doghouse? Just want to make sure you're done.
Yeah, I was just kind of throwing in my 2 cents of what I had observed. I mean, like I said, in the conclusion of all this, at the end of the day, he made a music video. If you don't like it, well, there's a lot of things on the internet that your children can see. All you can do as a parent, I tend to agree, is that, look, if you don't like it, you know the stuff's out there on the internet. If you're just now finding out that there is twerking videos, oh, Lord, you haven't even seen the whole entire internet that's available. You probably should put you should probably look into it and probably put parental blockers up immediately. So I think that this is the least of the concerns if your concern is what's on the internet, and this is being on the internet. Yeah,
so let's go to Blink, Malcolm, Pyro, Beard, Nacho, and Kobe. All right, Blink. Or Bink.
Oh my gosh, me having my turn is pretty hot, not gonna lie. Okay, so so I have a couple of points that I kind of want to make. So the reason why, sorry, Prime, for interrupting you. I just wanted to say, like, I know a lot of leftists like don't like the whole, not even just leftists, but people who criticize Christians and all other Christians criticize people about picking which scripture or which ethic moral like system they want to follow. And I feel like we should also like understand that this same pick me culture is the reason why there's progressive Christians in the first place. So I really think that should be like.
Could you explain that? What you said? You said. Could you explain what you said? That this pick me culture, like exactly what you mean by that?
Okay, so basically, like you know how you was like the morality isn't consistent because you're picking which one you want to follow, and it's not consistent throughout like the whole entire Bible, right? So what I'm saying is that the same thing, like you're criticizing for like people who, even if they are not progressive people use the same shit in order to counter a lot of the bigotry that is within Christianity. Does that make sense? So like I just wanted to make that point because like the fact that I had an argument about progressive Christians is not cute. But what happened is that I feel like one thing that we should understand is that there's a difference between offending like an oppression. Hold on, let me put my words together. There's a difference between an oppressor offending or discriminated against the oppressed group, right? The marginalized group versus the marginalized group offending the oppressor. So we all understand that there's triggered. But basically I'm laughing.
Race. I'm sorry, what?
No, it's not. No, you can no marginalized group encompasses many many factions of society, not specifically race. So what I'm saying is that I'm a black person. If you tell me to gatekeep and telling police about me talking shit about racist white people, I'm gonna get on your ass. So I'm not gonna sit here and like gatekeep if gay people should be offending or having slurs or whatever the fuck against Christians, and how like there's some people who even like there's like some gay people who call like straight people straight, which I think is funny. Like I'm not gonna gatekeep on that because that's not my place, and I feel like people who actually get offended don't actually understand why they're doing that in the first place. I think they're just being like um, weird about it. There's also like a thing to like recognize that not everybody practice Christianity how y'all think people practice Christianity. Like, bitch, I'm a witch, like, and Christian. So like, dead ass, nobody like practice the shit that like y'all think people practice the shit. Is there anything else that I want to say? Oh, I'm gonna call it the hypocrisy of things. So basically, why are y'all so pressed about the fucking devil and fucking like demons like out here like shaking ass? Like, what happened to like the actual sacred characters in the mythology, like angels and like fucking Jesus of all people? Like, why aren't y'all like pressed about that? Like, why are you pressed about characters literally being depicted about how they're supposed to be depicted? Like, I don't get it.
So hold on.
Like,
I'm
we
a
have
little lost. I don't know if
justified
anyone else is a little lost.
this for a reason. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Can
that
I
doesn't
just
make
say
sense.
like
make it quick because we got to move downstairs.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make an opening piece so I'm not buried underneath the bullshit here. Yeah, okay. It's kind of fucking ridiculous that like the Christians are doing the normal thing that they've always done, and look at this, someone's depicting my religion in a book or a musical or in a limerick or in a movie or in a music or etc. They always do this. They've done it for history. We shouldn't be surprised. Let them be upset about it. I don't give a fuck. As for expanding it to other religions, I literally do not give a fuck. Like, if you don't want me to draw your magic person, boycott me. Don't watch me. I don't give a fuck. Please, just I don't give a fuck. Like,
Oh, also, I have like 2 more points after.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your points, and then I will move down the list.
Also, there has been like fashion since like 2010 of like people who are like pastel goth and shit wearing upside down crosses and shit. Y'all wasn't saying shit. Second of all, where is it? If I would if I would to what is it? If I feel like it would have made more sense if the song actually fit the message, like I said before. So actually, y'all just being sugar for no reason. That's the end of like my shit.
All right, so let's go.
Love y'all though.
We love you too. So Malcolm, Pyro, Beard, Nacho, Kobe. Malcolm.
So I think that there's like 2 parts of it that like kind of work together that like we seem to be missing. That there's like 2 collective reasons why people are like upset or outraged at like this specific content. And I think part of it is one, like the homosexual implications that come from the music video. And then I think the other part is that it's like quote unquote Satan worshiping. And I think that both of these things are like kind of counterproductive because like in the music video, he literally like kills Satan. Like that's what happens at the end. And the idea that it's like devil worshiping, like would Christians be okay with it if he was like giving Jesus a lap dance? He was worshiping the king? Probably not. It seems like a lot of the underlying issues seem to be like with the homosexual nature of it. And that's like kind of the point of like the video and like the reason why he made it, right, is because like anybody who's queer and like has grown up in like a conservative or a Christian area, it's like you're gonna go to hell if you don't chill out. Like if you don't stop living this like abhorrent lifestyle, you're gonna go to hell. It's like, okay, well, let's go then. That's kind of like the attitude of it, right? So I think that like the dichotomy between like why people are mad, like they play off of each other, and I think that that's something that's missed. So like if Christians are upset that this is like devil worshiping, would they be mad if he was like giving Jesus a lap dance? Probably, because it's it's devil worshiping and it's gay. Like it's a little bit of both. So I think that we're like missing that.
Like, can I interject real quick? Like, this is why I'm talking about like I'm shaking. This is what I mean when I mean like the interpretation and like how people practice Christianity. I know people who literally twerk in church, literally praise God like during praise and worship.
Well, and
Twerking
something that's crazy about like
so
historical
like
literature and Christianity is people will like write like poems and shit like back in the Dark Ages about fucking Christ. Like they were
right,
literally like,
like
I want to suck his toes. Like I want him to suck my tits. Like that was literally poems that they wrote.
You don't even have to look in the fucking Dark Ages. Holy fuck!
People
you
do
guys
it now
wanna,
too. It's weird.
No. You want a really good book? John Winthrop actually wrote about how letters to his fucking wife about like how he some really weird shit. How he wished God would like hike up the dress and like, and it's just like, dude, what the actual fucking? That's like, founding of this country. Our founding fathers were weird, but like, go ahead and continue with your point.
That's kind of like my
One
point.
second. We gotta let him finish. Malcolm, finish, please.
Because that's like kind of my point, right? Is that like it's the bastardization of what Christianity is like, but Christianity has always been bastardized by people who practice Christianity by like either sexualizing like God in like places of worship or just like in general, like the way that we have historically talked about God, we accept it if it's like a sexualization of like Christ or an embodiment of Christ. Like I was talking about earlier about how like a couple of the Christ statues were like literally too sexy, and the Vatican was like, take this down, like Jesus looks too hot, like we need to make him not as hot, right? Like things like that where we tolerate it because it's like like affirming God, like it's like we're worshiping God, but like he's also kind of hot, right?
He's always
So,
the
like,
bodybuilder on the cross.
I know he's always like fucking shredded, or like yeah, but like the opposite where it's like, okay, but if LilNasX made this video and he's like, hey, I'm a Christian but I'm gay, so like here's me like twerking on Jesus because I love him, we'd have like the same fucking amount of outrage. It seems like that's the central issue.
So let's go to.
I think we definitely would.
Even the. Oh, go ahead.
So let's move on to Pyro. Pyro, Bear, Nacho, Kobe, Chinchilla.
So like, yeah, I will. Let me get your name. I will agree with Malcolm here. Yeah, like they probably would
my
be.
name there. Sorry.
No, like yeah, I would. They definitely would be getting upset if it was LilNasX doing like the same type of music video to Christ for exactly the reason you said. Like it's something that in their religion, they have the whole Leviticus quote like, "Oh, we don't like the gays," blah blah blah. But like, then you also get into that Satanism aspect of it. And like again, something like very few people have brought up in like the last 30 minutes or so, like the fucking shoes with the blood in them. Like it's an artistic move 100%, but like as like a non-Christian person who's still like about that, the first question I get, like, whose fucking blood is that? Like
It's
I
the
just
company
think
that makes
Staffers.
It was
Staffers.
it's the
They donate the
staffers.
blood.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
it was
it's like,
Staffers' blood.
and like that's just the
How
thing.
did he
I
get
think
it? That's what I want to fucking
They
know.
volunteered. They volunteered.
volunteered to
Obviously,
give the blood.
guys, you guys are killing the
okay.
joke. But like, yeah, they volunteer to give the blood. But like, it's just one of those things of like you're selling bits of actual people with it now, and like also with the Satanism thing, it just kind of meshes into like, yeah, this is just anti-Christian. A lot
You
of
don't need to
Christians
pray
will
to
come
Jesus to think that fucking blood shoes is weird as hell.
Yeah, I never.
Holy
I
shit,
literally just said
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Do
no,
you
no,
not fucking listen?
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
Like,
I
then
don't
why'd
think
you
it.
fucking say it? Like, that's what I just said. Like, yeah,
That
like
reminds me
There's an
when Lady
intent
Gaga
element though
confirmed
too,
her
right? Is like,
like,
what's the intent here, like behind these things? And that's why I'm very careful because though I don't disagree that there is obviously some elements of whatever you want to call it, Satanism or however you want to call it. I also believe that there's
Doghouse.
oh, sorry. Well, you have to look at why was this done, right? And so for me, I look at this and go, do I think that this was LilNasX trying to like push Satanism and things like that? I don't think so. I think his real
Oh my
motive here
God.
was obviously trying to get attention.
well,
At the
like,
end
yeah,
of the
like
day.
his motive, like, we can always like sit here and hypothesize what his motivations
Sure,
were. Like,
absolutely.
people who are hyper religious and hyper Christian are just going to sit there and be like, yes, it's Satanism. He was possessed by the devil to do this, and it's Satanism. And like people who don't really believe in that stuff are just going to be like, yeah, it was an artistic, piece of shit. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Like, we don't know what was going on in Lil Nas's head when he's like, ah, yes, and now I'm going to twerk on Satan. Poorly, might I add, but yeah.
So, okay. So we have
also like
what?
It's fucking poor twerking. I'm sorry.
So we have
like it's just bad.
We have,
the video work turned me gay.
We have Beard Nacho, Kobe, Chinchilla, but fuck, I gotta say something because it's been bothering me, right? Like yeah, people have Kobe, don't worry, you're on that list. Don't worry, we're coming to you. But yeah, people have the right to offend, right? We get that. We have the right to offend. And I think the most offensive thing, the most disgusting thing, is what Christianity has done to our LGBT brothers and sisters, right? Like I think that's like the most offensive thing, right? I think what the way they made Lil Nas feel about being gay, like growing up Christian, right? And the messages he received, right? And him feeling like shit about himself and about the people that he loved. I think that's the most offensive part. Him lap dancing with the fucking devil. That and compare really no, the most offensive thing is what Christianity does every day to other individuals, right? The hurt, the pain, right? And that's just emotional tools. Then there's just the physical ones, right? Kids getting beat up, right? People getting maimed, people being killed, right? This happens all across the world, right? And it still happens here in the States, especially when it comes to trans individuals, right? The horrific shit they have to deal with. That. I think that's
It's not just Christianity is in the minority of these things.
No,
these hate crimes.
no. Oh, okay. All right. Well, no. Sorry.
I mean, if you're going to address it based off of religion,
no. We can hold on.
Yes.
We can understand that religion has these influences. Like hold on. We can know that there was like literally a law, right? Like they were trying to pass like the kill the gays law in like fucking Uganda, right? And how did that happen?
Yo, they tried to do it in Washington last year.
I'm gonna head out.
Oh, thank you. How did that happen?
Thank you.
How did that happen? Conservative Christians came to Uganda and convinced their leadership from America, conservative Christians from America, right? Came to Uganda and convinced them, oh, this is the path, right? Like, threatened to execute.
That's terrible.
Yes, I know. Yeah, Christianity is terrible. It inspires people to do these things, right?
No. I can concede that people using religion.
Abusing religion. The religion says that like you shouldn't live with a man, right? Like that's a problem, right?
Yeah, but
that's it's sinful to live with a man. Using it,
you can put that all on Christianity.
Exactly.
Christianity is in the minority in the global.
I was attentive. And no matter what your opinion is, whether it's being used correctly or not, right? Hold on. No matter what your opinion on whether it's being used correctly or not, still, it is Christianity. Christians have been using it this way, one way or other, right? Muslims. Yes. So, okay, sure, Muslims. Yes, hold on. I'm anti-religion. I'm anti-religion altogether. So that doesn't mean nothing to me, right?
That's fair.
Add more to the fire. But yeah. So that's the most offensive part. Like not this like a music fucking video, right? Where we're clutching our fucking pearls. Like that the fact that this is the thing that upsets you and not what's been done to our LGBT brothers and sisters, right? That's a problem. That I find that offensive in and of itself. But
I can find both offensive though, can I not?
Possibly. Yes, you can find both. Yes, you can find both offensive. So let's go.
You'd be silly, but you can.
Yes.
That's the easy choice. Everything's wrong. Everything's offensive.
We're going to Beard. Don't Nacho. We're going to get right back to you. Right back to you.
All right.
We're going to go Beard, Nacho, Kobe, Chinchilla. All right, Beard.
All right.
I thought Kobe was next.
No, I said Beard. No, I said it multiple times. Beard.
Brace yourselves, because I have a feeling some people here are really not going to like what I have to say. But I don't think that any non-Christian person that has lived in the United States under the oppressive blue laws, under the implied and explicit power of the Christian community in the United States, should have any pity for the crocodile tears from the Christian community over a man who has lived his life oppressed by Christians and expresses the image of himself that was forced on him by Christians. There is no reason why anybody, especially the left, should have any pity for Christians in this situation.
Wait, is that the argument?
Victim. This man is a victim of Christianity, and when he gets up and he uses their supposedly their imagery that they ripped off from other communities and abused and manipulated for the last 1,000 years, why we should have any pity for them is beyond me.
Who is the victim?
And the fact
sorry. He says not LilNasX is the victim. He's saying
continually associating themselves with like I heard somebody say they're a Christian witch. Sorry, if you're a witch, you're not a Christian. There is no such thing as a Christian witch. Okay, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. That is in the Bible. You are not a Christian. And you should not be a Christian. I have ancestors that were murdered by Christians for being witches, supposedly. The fact that you would call yourself a Christian witch just feeds into the absurd notion of modern inclusive Christianity that is totally off base. They have victimized everybody. There is nobody on this planet that has not felt the victimization of Christianity other than Christians. They may be a minority, but they are a powerful minority. And I don't give a rat's ass about their feelings.
Okay, but so like I just got time out. I need to like figure out what the conversation is. Like, yeah, they're offended. So what? Are we supposed to do something about that? Like they can be offended all they fucking want. Right? Like They can
They don't
sit there
deserve
and
our tears,
maul,
our
right?
protection, or nothing.
Yeah, like that.
Wait.
Like that's the thing. As long as no one's trying to do anything about this, I'm good. Because like First Amendment and all that shit, like they can be offended in their little Christian corner.
Let's go.
Like,
Wait, can
yes.
I ask a question?
Yes, please. You can respond.
Okay, so by the way, first of all, you're not gonna tell me I'm not a Christian
You're not
because
a Christian.
I'm a witch. That's first of all, because only God knows, and He was not God. That's first of all. Second of all, the
And
reason
you're
why
not
I
a
said that's
witch.
giving me really
Let her finish,
colonizer
please.
energy, because depending on which region you are in the world, there's going to be specific practices that were synchronized into Christianity in that specific place. So you're gonna tell me they're not Christian because they believe in X, Y, and Z, or they practice herbal healing, or they spirit like they cleanse or some shit. Like that's what you're telling me?
Well, okay, you
They
could be a
herbal
Christian and
healing,
be a
British.
witch, just like you could be a Christian and be a murderer. You could still believe in Christ,
Oh,
but the book is pretty
God.
explicit
You're broken.
about
So
how that's not something you should do.
guys,
You could
This
still
just
be a
highlights the
saying
Christian
every single
insanity
time
that
I
the
say
book
this,
is
Protestantism
saying
has
you should
become.
be burnt at
wait,
the stake.
wait, hold up. Because my family's not from America. So you're telling me they're not Christian because they practice and stuff that y'all strict ass, conservative ass people who actually colonize the world as Christians don't like. I don't. I'm so confused.
I'm sorry, when the Christians came to colonize Europe, the first time they came to Europe,
always
they
come back to
murdered all of our wise women that were called witches.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but
with the
Christianity
Oh,
is
how
So yeah, we're
long?
gonna go down a whole. Oh man, there's gonna be a whole rabbit hole here.
We're
I know-
already down
No,
there,
we're not.
Alex.
No, we're not. I'm pulling out. I'm pulling out. So okay. Again,
Sorry, Prime.
no,
Like
it's
that was
fine.
pretty cringe.
No, it's fair.
Pull us out, Prime.
I
If
understand.
you want to go LARP as Harry Potter, go ahead and do it, but don't
That's not what
use the
witches
names
do.
of
Okay,
people that
okay.
were
Like,
murdered
shut the fuck
by
up
the
if you're not
people that you
Okay,
want to
all right,
continually
okay,
associate.
got it. We have your yeah. We know your feelings on this. Okay, great. So we're going down. It was Bear, Nacho, Kobe, Chinchilla. Okay. So Nacho, your turn.
Okay, so I'm really behind here because I'm trying to keep up. But so I don't understand. 'Cause this is pretty far back, but I don't understand how you can not conflate selling like Nazi symbolism and shoes with like 666 and the upside down cross. Just the same as you would. Okay, let me finish. So the same as you would sell, like, let's say you sold like a picture of the naked Muhammad. Like, you're selling things that are clearly meant to be offensive or meant to represent a certain thing. So this is one point, but I see you.
But the Nazis
jumping at
killed
the
a
bit.
bunch of fucking people. Like, right? Like the Nazis killed. Did Satan come down and orchestrate the murder of 11 million people?
But if
Did
you're
Muhammad
Christian,
do
then
that?
you do believe that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Hold on,
in
in my
It
opinion,
offends
yes.
people.
In the Bible,
Yes.
Satan only kills like 3
in
people.
your
Whoa,
opinion,
bro.
in your opinion, an
From my core
historical
beliefs.
fact-
Okay,
This is
one at a time. And Kobe, whoa, stop. One at a time. Let Nacho finish his point. Kobe, take
If I can
over me
respond.
for a hot second, because I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. But
Yeah. So some more points to make, but I'm willing to hear that Pyro and others like speak. Like, so yeah, from my perspective, like, yeah, I feel like people like Hitler, etc., represent Satan. Like that is an embodiment of Satan. That is the embodiment of evil, like coming to fruition in humanity. Like, so from my opinion, yeah, that definitely represents Satan.
So like
this is
wait,
a
hold
moot
on.
point.
I
Go
just
ahead.
gotta say
Go ahead.
the difference between like you saying like, well, in my opinion, he's a representation of Satan, so like we shouldn't sell it, versus like Hitler was actually fucking real and we observably know that he kills it. Like, I can say like, oh, your opinion's fucking
So-
wrong. Hold up.
So do you,
I wasn't
finish.
I just have one question.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Because like you just
Okay.
said, like in your opinion, like he's a representation of Satan embodiment. Like I could say, in my opinion, he's a representation of like Quetzalcoatl embodiment. Like it doesn't necessarily, but like we know Hitler was real. We don't necessarily know Satan was real. We're religious or not, no one can like actually point to a historic event and be like,
That's the
yeah,
difference.
Satan organized that shit.
Fair
We
enough.
do know that
The
with Hitler.
difference is,
So-
if you're Christian, then you believe Satan is as real as Hitler. So for you,
Fair
it's
enough. I
if
think
you don't
even
believe
without
in Satan, look, I'm not
no,
religious. but
you
if
don't
you
even have to
believe
believe.
in
You don't even have
Satan,
to believe in religion.
then you're
Do
not
you
religious.
do
It's
you
a moot
believe?
point.
Nacho finish, and then I'm gonna start talking because it's my turn.
So-
Nacho finish.
Well, I had some more things. Yeah, sure. Do you believe in good and evil? Like, do you believe that there are things that are inherently evil and there are things that are inherently good?
No. Most yeah.
Pyro, please. Yes.
Oh yeah, I have my personal moral axioms or what fancy words have you that I believe are good and evil. Yeah, sure, 100%.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Would you agree
Can't say
that
it anymore.
Hitler would align with the evil aspect? Would align
Yeah.
with the bad?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so when my perspective of Satan or the embodiment of evil, like that's what I associate those kind of things to.
And that's,
so
that's
those
the
would
problem.
fall into the
That's the
same
problem.
category.
That's
I think
the problem,
no,
right?
but hold on. This should be common ground for both of us, is it not?
No,
like,
no,
like
no.
we can
wait,
agree that evil things are evil
wait,
things.
I can explain to you why not, because like the way you're trying to frame it, right? Here's where the disagreement
I hear
comes
the
in,
frame
right?
coming
Let's
too.
let's say I'm one of those weird people who are just like, Satan wasn't the bad guy in that story. What did he do that was wrong? He tried
But
to
you're not.
educate. How do you know?
But you're not.
Prime,
Did I
can
do?
Because you
Did I
just
say
said
that?
so.
No, I
Nacho?
didn't. I said that Hitler was evil. I never. You didn't ask me about Satan.
I want to ask Nacho a
Well,
question.
no,
if
sorry,
that's
sorry.
all
But
right.
like, we're not going to get into that. We're not
sorry,
gonna
But
get
then
into
I
that.
followed that up by saying that I would associate Satan with the embodiment of evil, like whatever. Like I would attribute those
Mine's a
things
very
together.
simple
Hold on.
question, I
So
promise.
one at a time. So we got. All right. So I'll let you ask this one question, but then we got to move
Yeah,
on because we
it's
got to
very
get to
simple and
Kobe.
it's relevant
And
to what I
Dan, I
said
see
earlier.
your hand. So
Prime, can you answer this?
Yeah, I was gonna ask
First
Nacho,
point.
Sorry,
and
what?
this is relevant to what you're saying.
I'm sorry. Did you? Sorry. Most people were talking. I didn't hear either of you. So what are you saying, dog? Please repeat it.
Sorry, Nacho is proposing that there's obviously a problem with what's going on with this particular picture and thing. I'm asking Nacho what is his solution and what we should do moving forward in terms of this. What would be his solution to this?
Your eyes are like a prescription to this. I don't really. I'm not really sure. I would more put this on like we were talking about this earlier. Like Prime even said, like you would not have your children. You would basically not allow your children at a certain age to be just roaming the internets freely like that. So I mean, that would be my prescription, I guess. Wholly is just be better parents. Like, and that was one of my questions that I was going to ask is to who here in the panel has children. And then follow up would be like to who is married with the intent, I guess.
So,
Me, I have
but I mean, I don't want to
so-
take up the whole.
So we're gonna go down the list then. Kobe is next. Kobe, I called Kobe in specifically for this. So Kobe, would love to hear from you.
Okay, I have so much to say.
I know.
Okay, I have so many notes.
Go ahead.
So I'm just going to start hitting them at random intervals. Okay.
What's
So
up, little
first,
Cobb?
okay. So the first thing that I thought when we were talking about this is the absurdity of people being so like offended at like depicting Satan. This is incredibly time-honored tradition. The early Christian church was actually much more Gnostic, meaning that they believed in a view the idea that like Satan and God are both kind of like one expression of a same divine force, and that you need to have Satan to have God. And so this idea that like depicting this is the exact opposite, right? Depicting the evil parts of the divine spectrum has been something that is as old as religion. So this is beyond absurd. There was a little bit of touching on the idea of like what art is. I think that if you try to do the whole thing of like I personally have the definition of what art is, you're a meme, and I don't even like it's ridiculous. Art is personal expression made manifest. If I really want to smather my own poop on a wall and call it art, that's fine. If I want to make a movie and call it art, that's fine. You don't need to like something for it to be art. That's so very silly. I think it's very interesting that there are Christian metal bands like Demon Hunter that have used satanic imagery for decades and been played at churches, and it's no problem. But a gay black man decides to use satanic imagery, and it's like a literal like burn down the fucking like newsstands. It's very interesting. It's very curious to me. Let's see here.
Just no one's mad because he's gay or
Okay,
because
oh
he's
boy,
black.
please,
Just to
please.
make that clear, that's not the issue at all.
No, maybe no one in
Yeah.
this call, but I do definitely think
Yes.
not a majority, but a portion of the people that are mad in general very much are not happy that a gay black man is being in the front of,
Maybe, but I don't know how you would come to those. I don't know how you would prove that, even if it was true. Like,
okay, that's another
Okay,
conversation.
all right.
Moving forward, all religion is stupid, right? I just want to be very, very clear here. Like, I'm not hitting it at any different thing. Spirituality, pagan, witches, Christianity. So I'm not like leveraging anything. I think it's. I'm sorry. I respect everybody. I do think it is very, very cringe to call yourself a Christian and at the same time criticize colonialism. Christianity and Islam have probably been the two biggest driving forces behind European colonialism and Middle Eastern colonialism as anything ever. It's very interesting. I don't know. It's very curious to me. I think that's very cringe. I think it's also very interesting to be like freaking out about the idea of like a blood ritual. Do you recognize, right, that the Christian church had blood rituals going back into like the 1950s, right? The Ustasha, the Romanian fascists, would literally drink each other's blood before they went out and committed pogroms against the Jews, and they did that in the name of Christianity, called the Jews.
so can murder be art?
Let him finish.
Can murder be art? Listen, man. We'll have that conversation another time.
If you watch enough Hannibal on Netflix.
So hey, everyone, please let Kobe get through his points. He's got a lot of points. He's been waiting a very long time. Go ahead, Kobe.
The idea that that Christianity has not been behind just King William, I do believe colonialism is a thing. I literally just said that I believe Christianity was a driver of colonialism. So in order for me to make that statement, I kind of have to believe the prerequisite statement that colonialism is real. But maybe you could listen to my words and then you can understand what I say. The idea that Christianity hasn't been behind persecution is beyond ridiculous. I'm going to link a free download to a book in the chat called The Darkening Age that goes through the history of Christian persecution. Christians massacred Slavs. They would kill entire villages, killing anybody over the age of 18 because they were pagans. Muslims and Christians both would kill people during the Crusades because they were pagans. Many of the religions of North Africa, they have to piece their religions back together, their traditional religions, but piecemeal, because so much of it was destroyed by Christian and Muslim colonizers. The idea that Christianity has not been behind this is ridiculous. It's actually the exact opposite. Christians like to believe themselves to be the persecuted minority, but it's the exact opposite. There is only about 1,000 confirmed persecuted killings by Christians by the Roman pagans. There is over 10,000 confirmed killings of pagans by Christians, by the Christian Byzantine Empire. This is a complete historical fact. This idea that Christianity hasn't been behind it is ridiculous. I'm trying to see here. I think I'll end it with this. Sorry. The idea that Satan is as offensive as Nazism is beyond ridiculous. Okay, Satan is a part of I would say that the idea of a universal evil incarnation is something that is almost a universal spiritual religious symbol, right? The idea that if I depict Ganesh doing something silly, then I'm being anti-Hindu. I'm sorry, Ganesh is a universal figure. There's a Japanese yokai that is based off of Ganesh. There are figures in Buddha, any of these kind of things. I think that I will end it with this. This is a quote from a leader of the Yugoslavian Communist Party. He said that as long as the church has no political power and the education of the young is dealt with by the state, I have no problem with religion. And that was that. I think that's where I'd like to end this.
Okay.
I think the idea. Yeah, I think the idea that people are freaking out about this is beyond hilarious. This reminds me of when people were freaking out about Dungeons and Dragons or hair metal bands. Grow the fuck up. We were dealing with an international pandemic.
None of us are mad at each other for what Romans did, right?
Okay, but Nacho was spreading misinformation, maybe inadvertently, about the history of Christian persecution. You said that Christians were not the up in the top list of persecutions. That's just simply not true. Christians, I would say, are probably number one. I'm sorry. Am I forgetting? I feel like that was a very close to what
Would you respond to me when I was talking about Christian persecution of the LGBT community?
I said that Christians were in the minority as far as that goes. And
absolutely, I would say that probably worldwide Christians are probably number one and number two are Muslims.
Either way, it's atrocious. Like, I'm not trying to write that off for Christians by any means. I'm just trying to say, I was just trying to point out that
That's fine. I'm saying you're
pinning this
portraying
all on
information incorrectly.
Christianity.
It's all
Like,
fine. We can move on.
Okay, so
okay,
we can go
okay,
to
all right.
go ahead. Well, Bank, you want to say something? Then we got to go to
I
Chinchilla.
literally just said that
Oh,
number 2 are
okay.
okay. To be fair, number 4 and number 5 are Hindu.
The only reason why I bring up colonialism is because, as I said before, who is it? I can't see. Where's people? Did they leave? No. To Malcolm's point, like when I said, basically that people have a narrowed idea of what Christianity is. The reason why I got very defensive and I pulled up, oh, you guys are giving me really colonialism, is because since colonialism happened, there was a lot of synchronization of religion and cultural practices of the area. So, for an example, some people where my family is from practices stuff that if I was to do it in a church in America, they'll be like, "Oh, well, you're a witch. Persecute her. She's a pagan. She's a Satan for X, Y, and Z." But in their home country, in the actual church, a Protestant church, they will not say anything about it. That's why I feel some type of way when they were like, "Oh, well, you can't be a witch and be a Christian at the same exact time." When a lot of practices that witches practice are the same exact cultural practices that I'm referring to. That's why I got offended with what I
But the
said.
Bible explicitly states to burn witches multiple times in multiple
Well,
books.
I don't even care about that.
That's
But
like the most
regardless,
extreme example, even more than like gay marriage or racism or
True.
anything. The
regardless
Bible
of
is like
this,
super explicit on burning witches.
Her point is that
well,
like a
regardless
lot
of
of the
which things,
religion
like
is
you've just been
fragmented,
wildly
so
inconsistent
you
on a lot
carry
of
practices.
it just doesn't make sense that you're
Okay.
Well, this is part and parcel of how Protestant colonialism works, right? And they took it from the Catholics. The Catholics moved into South America. They appropriated the mother goddess by deifying Mary and creating this whole narrative to infiltrate and destroy local cultures. It's not syncretism; it is colonialism.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to Chinchilla. Yeah, we're going to Chinchilla and then to Dana.
So
And
first
then
of
Doobie.
all, thank you, Brian, for having me on. So Kobe is 100% right. First of all, because of the fact that when I had the privilege in university to study philosophy of like the Dark Ages, I had the privilege of like studying a lot of like the things around religion, and basically religion changed a lot over time, so to speak, and the interpretation of religion changed a lot over time. So you can look at it in a really narrow way, you can look at like a really broad way, so to speak, and it comes to all the topics when it comes to the Christianity religion. As for the culture aspect that we're talking about right now, when it comes to like twerking or doing certain things in like a certain video clip, I would say like culture evolves over time. We all saw it. Like Madonna did some things, right? We saw it with fucking Elvis Presley. Guys, I can show my fucking knees on stream right now. I won't get banned. If I did that in the 1940s, I would get banned on this fucking platform, so to speak. If the platform was a thing, right? So to speak.
As if it
But
wouldn't exist today.
when we talk about these things, I think it's very important to realize that we live in a different age, in a different culture, and I don't see that as a perversion. I see it as like a liberation, definitely for for the ladies, so to speak, because they were and they are still oppressed a lot of the times, so to speak. So uh, I hope for everybody right now that's watching, PrimeCayes, first of all, I hope they sub. That's one of those things.
Twitch
So
Prime, Twitch Prime.
Twitch Prime, Twitch Prime, Prime for Primes. So, but second of all, I just hope that the ladies can take back the or they can take back the power, but also that we guys we can give them the power, and we don't judge them on showing some skin. As for the internet roaming that somebody brought up, I think it's fair to say that on the internet we kind of have and we need to have some regulations. Also, parental like guidance
Jesus,
is
man.
necessary, but definitely some sort of like internet regulations that can make sure that like our kids can not go on the porn sites. So there's so to speak. There you go.
Thanks so much, Chinchilla. All right, so let's move.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go on to Dan and then Doobie.
Well, Kobe, thanks for saying everything that you said. Because I was gonna, cover a lot of that. So glad that you said what you did. I guess the only thing that's left that Kobe didn't cover is just I find it really, really stupid, really fucking dumb to pick like this one thing being this shoe and to criticize it whenever there are thousands of other examples of art that essentially like glorify the same thing. And I say this as somebody who grew up Christian. Like it's hypocritical, it's dumb, it's really stupid. And it's also funny that most people don't know that this art collective released a like a Jesus shoe before the Satan shoe came out, which it's just ironic. So that's it.
Doobie.
Yeah, religion is bad. I actually don't think what's happening to your LGBT brothers and sisters is the worst thing that Christianity is doing in the United States. I think the worst thing that's happening in the United States right now with this religion, but also many other religions, is the indoctrination, brainwashing of children who are being taught that if they act out of line, there's a scary demon under the bed that's going to drag them to hell and will be tortured forever. I think that's like probably traumatizing for a lot of these children. Probably keeps them up at night because they think there's this devil out there waiting to get them. I think that's pretty bad. This is why, like I've said before, I support outlawing the indoctrination of children to these religions. That's just me.
So I just gotta ask you.
That's
Doobie,
not all
like,
religions.
I hold up. I gotta ask Doobie, like in that comment, you realized that like the extreme of like indoctrinating children to believe that if they sin, there's a demon under their bed. Like if you're part of the LGBT and you have them extremist Christian or religious parents, like you might get sent off in the United States in places where it's still legal to a fucking conversion camp, which is pretty fucking bad. And like, I think that would fall under the same category, like trying to indoctrinate your child into that shit.
Wait, hold on. Those do exist. Yeah, those do exist.
Oh,
But
yeah,
actually,
Don.
hold on. But you're missing like the worst part of that thing, Pyro. I think is that many of these children who feel this way, who are just gay or whatever, when they're going to these camps, they are happy that they're being sent there because they think they can be saved. Because if they act on these impulses, they're going to go to hell. Right. So that's the worst part of it, I think. So many of them want to go because they feel like they need to. They need to be saved from themselves.
I don't think. Well, I would need to see something where like most of them want to go. Like from everything I've seen, it's literally the exact opposite, right? Like they're kind of kidnapped in the middle of the night and like forced there, like against their will. It's not like they're like, oh, gee willikers, thanks, mom and dad, I can get
if
better.
I do
like,
this, everything will be fine. Everyone will love me again. Everyone will love me again, and it won't be so horrible. I mean, come on now.
Like it happens both ways, but I definitely would say like it's the
so-
majority.
Yeah, to Doobie's point, from what I understand, there are kind of two types of conversion therapy camps. There are like voluntary ones,
Casually
and
strokes beard.
where they take you away in the middle of the night. So Doobie, I think, is like about half right. That I think there are some people that are like that are brainwashed into believing that what's happening to them is good. But to Pyro's point, I do think that a significant majority of LGBT youth that are sent to these places are sent to them by
that's my only point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Doobie's wrong or anything. I'm just saying like to say it's the majority of them, like I don't know about that one. And, like,
well, I don't think I ever said anything about the majority, but I think
we
there's
also
a
need to be
size problem out
careful
there.
not to
Sure, Willie,
associate
you said it earlier.
all
Not you,
religions with evangelical Protestantism, which is what most people who are fiercely anti-religious, and I understand the sentiment, but not all religions, one, have a boogeyman, or two, abuse their children into following their religion.
Right, and
so I think it's something that we need to be careful of, is to not arbitrarily associate all religions with colonial or abusive religions, because there is a difference.
And religion
any
adapts over
religion
time,
that
just like
promotes
anything else. Like just like culture,
Yeah, not all
religion
of us
adapts.
beat people. I mean, physically.
Let me ask you guys this.
any
Let's
religion
say
that
that
promotes
you are a guy that's bi. You're hyper-Christian. You think that if you're bi, you're going to go to hell. So you go to a conversion camp. You generally do not want to be bi. You want to be straight because for whatever reason you think that's wrong.
Yeah, but they're talking about
Would a
kids.
camp?
Kids don't really have the agency over that. It's more
Yeah,
like a
no.
parent.
99% of them are sent there unwillingly.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Though, so
But the
But
1%, if it was only that case,
it's not even the conversion.
would
I
you
mean, it's not
think
even just the
it'd be a
conversion
bad thing?
I think
camps.
I think that's an
mean,
interesting question. I think should we allow citizens to do things that are like harmful to them? Basically, is what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
I would argue that it seems as if the medical consensus is that a conversion therapy,
I
the only
think
thing it
that
really
is bad
causes is like
English.
post-traumatic stress disorder. It doesn't really cure you from being gay. So the question is basically, should we allow people to go to post-traumatic stress camp? I guess. I mean, I don't think so. But if you want to make a libertarian argument, sure. But that's very
But
different than this whole religion.
it's not even just the conversion therapy camps, though. So, like, when I was younger, I wasn't a Christian, but I ended up going to one of these Christian camps because I had a crush on some girl that was going. I was like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go, and maybe I'll get a chance to hang out with her or whatever, right? And it was this red horse or white horse camp. This shit was nuts. Like, they literally were like having children like sit by themselves away from, like, not by each other, watching these like gory videos of Jesus with like this person talking over it, literally informing them of how evil they are. And I would just think, I'm like, oh my god, this shit is fucking insane. I get it if you believe this stuff, but like I think we do need to take like some of these private organizations, right? They need to take a look at what's happening to these children when they're sent to any kind of summer camp, whether it's a politically motivated, religiously motivated, because some of this shit is like legitimately, like, it's not even just the homosexuals that are going to conversion camps, but like if any one of these kids were to go to one of these normal Christian camps, they would probably experience, probably not to the same degree, but severe psychological trauma from this crap. It was horrifying. I was like, what the fuck is this?
You're talking about Jesus Camp.
So
yeah, I mean, I don't know if all Jesus, I'm sure there's some out there that are just like,
mine was
whatever.
great.
I mean, there was a documentary about it. I'm
some
sorry.
of these camps are really fucking scary.
Yeah.
Okay,
right?
well, I can anecdotally, like, yes, contribute to that. Like, so I grew up more like Southern Baptist, so it was like pretty hardcore. Like, the majority of the churches around here are like hellfire and brimstone, which is like every time you go to church, it's like how, when, and why you're going to hell. So I agree with you there. Like, I basically left Christianity, left religion altogether. I was actually like basically atheist for a couple of years, and like studying more into science, etc., and into other religions kind of brought me back to like believing that at the base of my belief is like there is a creator, and that and then, you know, back to my Christian roots, because I'm studying like this through like reading the Quran, to reading Sanskrit texts, to reading like Greek mythology, etc., and I'm seeing like similarities in all the stories, etc. So I agree with you there. Like, yes, people abuse religion constantly to push their narrative, to push their whatever, their political agendas, etc. Like, throughout history, religion has been abused horribly and has been used as like a tool to control the masses. So like, I'm not gonna like argue with that point there. I'm just, and I tried to point this out earlier, and I think maybe we've already gone past this, but it's like, I don't think, like, I wouldn't make fun of the Muhammad. I wouldn't make fun of, you know, like twerking on Hades, like twerking on whatever the equivalent for. I think there's multiple for like Native Americans, so I don't know which one
You
you
could
would choose.
twerk on my God if you want.
But it's like,
Doesn't
I
bother me.
wouldn't do that. Like, you know what I mean? Just like personally, just because I guess, and maybe that's because I come from a religious background, but that's my personal view on it. So
Just because you come from a violent religion. Christianity is a violent religion that reveres its God as a literal like manifestation of an ancient Near East king, which was a extremely violent institution.
I wouldn't hold up. I wouldn't even go that far to like combat that point. Hold up, Nacho. I would just say, right, like that's you, right? I personally feel the same way. I wouldn't go that far to release a video of me twerking on someone's god or deity either, but like he did.
Well, like,
can I say something?
I really want to respond to
this point. Kobe, you're wrong about everything. I'm joking. I love you, Kobe. But actually, I need to go, so I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Okay.
I'll be back later.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, go ahead, Kobe.
Well, hold on. I want to talk for a second here. Okay, listen. There's like a
I
very
think
strange
Satan bouncing ass is hot.
where people are being like, listen, okay, well, actually, like, there's the good religion. There's this hypothetical good religion that it doesn't teach anything bad. It doesn't have any bad things, but no, it doesn't exist. All religion is bad. All spirituality is bad. This doesn't exist. Even somebody in chat said the only base religion is Jainism. I think Jainism has a lot of really cool aspects,
guys,
but Jainism also teaches moral relativism.
Sorry, Bink, you keep interrupting. You keep interrupting. What's going on?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, please. Kobe's talking. Let's let him finish. Kobe, please.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm saying like any cosmological belief system that promotes innate rationale beliefs, whether it's indigenous spirituality, Christianity, paganism, whatever, that's not good. You should not believe in those things. You should not believe in things that you.
Do you believe in objective morality?
It doesn't matter if to the point that's saying over here the idea that no, I don't. I would be described as an emotivist. I believe that
Oh, me too. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there's no kind of I don't think there's any kind of moral claims. I think that when I say that I don't want to be killed, just because I think it would be pretty painful and I would like to keep living.
We had this discussion yesterday, actually.
Yeah, is that your point? Did you finish your point, Kobe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like no, this idea that there's like this phantom good religion out there is ridiculous. They all have the core irrationality that is the bad part.
So,
and as an emotivist, you're saying you don't like all religions and all forms of spirituality because as an emotivist, you must hold that good and bad.
Yeah, so I think that like. Yeah, I think that I would like to have societies that I think like are able to function and evolve better. I think that societies in which people are not bound to irrational traditional sort of chains are better. I think the societies in which we view the world in as much of a realistic, rational, materialist way seems to be a society that we can produce the best outcomes for the most amount of people.
Let's go to one at a time. Thank you. Strawberry. I think you were trying to ask Kobe something.
Yeah, I mean, then so should we get rid of capitalism and all other type of economic systems because all the deaths and all the mistreatment that people have suffered at the hand of those also?
And they're based on
why not?
Yeah,
we live in the 21st century. But should we be bound to like the ideology of the 18th century? People were capitalists in the 18th century, the 19th century. We're in the 21st century. Let's make up new ways of doing things. Yes, we should not be bound to capitalism or socialism or communism or Sovietism or Stalinism. No, let's make up new ideas. Yes, of course.
There are atheistic religions, I mean, I don't disagree. I think most forms of religion are very, very harmful. Most, yeah. Including like
what is
the religious
atheistic religion?
The idea that you can control your beliefs.
Name one atheist religion.
Yeah, what's an atheist?
Liberalism.
That's
the idea that human rights come from natural law is a religious idea. It is a god.
No, it's not. You're just making shit up.
Every way other than calling it supernatural. No, I'm not making things up.
Yes, you are.
Where do your rights come from?
Yeah. Holy crap.
Hold on. So,
where do your rights come from?
A social contract.
Yeah,
so this is a thing that a lot of, in my opinion, like bad philosophers have done, like Ayn Rand and stuff, in which you just make up your own definitions for things and then act as if that is true. A religion is not just any thought pattern, right? It's not just any ideology. I would argue that a religion, we should try to have a definition that reflects the societal phenomenon we're trying to describe. I'm trying to describe the societal phenomenon of cosmological frameworks that try to frame human beings in a larger metaphysical reality. I'm not talking about socialism, which is a way of organizing humans on a material basis. I'm not talking about capitalism, which is a way of organizing humans on a material basis. I'm not talking about liberalism, which is talking about organizing humans on a material basis. I'm talking about religion. I'm trying to talk about making metaphysical claims.
See, the reason that doesn't work is because the average person wouldn't know half the words you used.
The reason religion exists is because
we're on a fucking blue ball in the middle of a giant cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
We die, we mean nothing. It's fucking terrifying. We want to believe that we have some kind of
Who the
purpose.
hell are you, Carl Sagan?
To
Come on.
some people, that's
terrible.
politics.
I
To
totally
some
disagree with
people,
this
that's
argument. This is
religion.
like-
But people need a reason to get out of bed in the morning,
Can I
other
ask
than
Nacho
fucking
a
going to their
question?
Starbucks job.
I think religion is an institution of traditional religiosity, in its purest form. It is not just metaphysical,
Religiosity.
cosmological beliefs, whatever the fuck it is you're saying, but religiosity is a very fundamental human trait, and it gets attached to a great many things and becomes institutionalized in a great many ways that are not all attached.
So like I need you to like actually define religion and religiosity without using those two words, and then tell me how it applies to like
He doesn't need to
liberalism.
define anything. Look at his beard.
Because the vast majority of people that I've spoken to that ascribe that have a deeper understanding of liberalism and believe in the institution of human rights believe that it stems from some form of natural law. They believe in an objective morality. Most people, I'm not saying everybody, but it is literally just a fucking superstition. The idea that your rights come from anything other than power.
Oh boy,
right? That
oh
it comes
boy.
from some
Sorry.
like
We're not-
magical, metaphysical, natural.
We're not going to
law.
get into
Is a
this
religion.
another mode of.
Can I-
We're not going to get into another mode of
Very
this
few
discussion.
people
Holy
in the
crap!
modern
I
Can I
don't care.
ask-
I don't care. So
Yeah,
Malcolm, hold
it's
on.
not about emotivism.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care. Let's go to Malcolm.
I just wanted to ask Nacho. So earlier you were talking about like the sacred iconography of religions and like how you respectfully like wouldn't like torque on like another god or a different religion's god, even if that's something that you didn't believe in out of respect. So my question would be is like, then what does Satan have to do with it? Because that's not like your god. So like, I just don't understand like what you mean by that. If you could clarify that.
So Satan, I guess Satan represents everything that is evil to me personally. Like Satan represents everything that is evil. So I mean, if you, that's why I asked the question earlier about not like equating that to Nazi symbolism, etc., or equating it to Hitler, because I feel like those are the manifestations of evil in humanity throughout history, etc. So, and there are more than just that. I mean, even in American history, like there are representatives that you could probably equate to that as well. So, but it's like
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like my question though is like
I have a question.
if it's about like desecrating like a god, like Satan isn't a god, nor is he like your god. So what is the offensive nature of like desecrating that symbol if it's not like
Amen.
Satan is
a
God in
power
Judaism.
religion?
I see what you're saying, but it's not necessarily that it's like desecrating like my god so much as it's like worshiping like general evil in society. Like I just don't think that there's no net benefit or no net positive for our society.
So do you think that like
promoting
Satanism is
or-
just like a no-go, like that shouldn't be allowed? Or do you think that like because
Yeah,
like
what does
because
that
your
do?
perspective
What-
is that like that's evil?
Yeah, what does promoting what does celebrating evil do for our society?
Well, I mean,
This is what I tried. This is what I tried to get. Hold on, wait.
Anybody but Christians.
This is what I tried to get into earlier, right? Like,
can I finish? Can I finish?
Go ahead.
Thanks, man. So my question would be like, so if you're saying that like it's kind of like worshiping evil, so like kind of coming back to like what I asked earlier and it kind of got missed or kind of like lost in the conversation or whatever, would it be more acceptable for you if he was like twerking on Jesus, like if he was like worshiping Jesus but in like a sexual way? Would you find that as equally as offensive or not?
No, I still don't think that that's I still wouldn't think that that's appropriate. I guess I just feel like there are certain things that you should kind of like leave. I don't know what sacred, I guess, and it's not just because it's it just happens to be my religion. Like if this was Hades, if this was Zeus, if this was Muhammad, or if it's like you just kind of leave these things alone. Of course, that's my prerogative. Like obviously, I know every Christian is not following that same prerogative, and I know Christians have done some horrendous things. Like I'm not going to try to defend all Christians in the existence of humanity. Like so.
Well, let me ask you this: if he was like an actual Satanist that actually followed the tenets or whatever the hell Satanists do, Would that be less offensive or just as offensive?
No, I don't think it would really matter. I don't think that's a net. No. I don't think that's positive for our society because
I gotta ask this is something that we run into a lot with modern Christianity, is their conception of Satan and attaching that conception of Satan to all images of the devil and Satan. The Ha-Satan in the Abrahamic religion is not the devil. The Ha-Satan, which is being referred to by Satanists, right? The Satan is an aspect of God. It's the aspect of God that bids you eat of the tree of the knowledge of good.
Okay,
no. But
the
what you're
fucking
saying,
thing.
Nick.
You're arbitrarily okay. You want me to get to my point? You're arbitrarily assuming the correctness of your view and saying, Satanism is all about bad, but you don't know anything about Satanism or the history of the idea of Satan.
Okay, all right. So one at a time. Whoa. I want Nacho to respond. Then Kobe also wants something to say something to him. So Nacho, please respond to this.
If I may, Nick, I totally understand what you're trying to point out here. Like, yes, I get it. I know what you're trying to point out here. But my point is just that it's not necessarily like it's very clear, especially in the context of this. If you've seen this video, if you've seen even clips of it, it's extremely explicit. It's very clear as to what he's trying to point out. This is not like, oh, well, this is like riding the line, or this is like, oh, this is like Luciferian.
I don't think you understand his point. I don't think you understand his point because he was saying something different. You don't.
Okay, well, maybe you should elaborate, Nick. Maybe I didn't. Maybe Prime.
To boil it down, I think what's happening, and I think you're right. It is clear in the video that he is using it in the Christian or potentially a Luciferian context, which is not Satanism, to be fair. People keep throwing around Satanism. Satanism isn't pointing at the Christian Satan, right? They're pointing at the Jewish Satan, right? The actual Ha-Satan, the thing that like existed before Christians turned it into the devil.
All right,
right?
so yeah.
But again, Luciferians, right, have as much a right to their view of morality as Christians do. And you can think that they embody some evil, right? But what you're saying is they just are other than me, and I don't think that they have some right to exist. Well, I mean, sure, maybe rights don't exist, but like they certainly have the legal authority to exist. And I think that you is pushing for somebody that thinks religion should be respected, thinking that just arbitrarily because from your perspective Lucifer is bad, right? That they just don't deserve respect because that represents bad to me.
But that's also just really quickly though, like in the video,
historically Christian.
Just really quickly in the video, a lot of it is like a hybrid of like a lot of the imagery isn't just like Christian. So a lot of it is Greek. Like they have like a piece of literature from like Homer Symposium. Like a lot of it is like reminiscent of Greek stuff. So it's like kind of like a culmination of like a lot of different religious imagery. It's not specifically Christian.
So let's go to Kobe, and then Dan.
Yeah, so I just wanted to I'll say two things real quick. So number one, Nacho, super stupid. The idea that something's just sacred for a very long time. The idea that LGBT people are bad or sacred. The idea that women should not be, like in role of society was sacred. This is just an idiotic way of looking at the world. I'm sorry, I don't really know how. I don't have a lot of energy right now. I'm sorry, it's my night off. Furthermore, I think that there's like this really interesting book that some of the Christians in the room should read. It's called the Holy Bible. In it, there's this part called the Harrowing of Jesus, where he actually goes to hell and he talks to damn souls and he saves them. The idea of Christians going to hell or believers going to hell as part of their journey, their spiritual journey, is beyond settled as like this is something that is an Eastern mysticism. There's a book called My Journey to Hell, which is an ancient Buddhist text.
Process, not a
I
place.
can't remember the name of it. There's an ancient Japanese text that is the same thing. There's an ancient Sumerian text. I believe in the epic of Gilgamesh. I believe that Gilgamesh goes to hell and saves Enki.
Dante's Inferno too, yeah.
But regardless,
Dante's Inferno.
But Gilgamesh also like fist fight gods. That's
yeah. Okay. All right. So let me finish this point. Kobe, finish your point.
Read the source material. That's all I gotta say. Read the source material.
Okay. So my part is that on the other side of it, like, I guess like we're never gonna agree on some things, right? Because coming at from an atheist perspective, it's uh, like him, the fact that him dancing on a mythological creature, okay, sure, right? You could have done the same with Pan, right? Which is, again, back to Christian stealing things. Like the image that we have of the devil currently, right? Is much based on Pan, right? So like we just excuse me, Christians, we just take things, right, and just say, oh no, this is ours now. No, this was always ours, right? Even stories from the Bible, right, just taken wholesale from other religions. So like, it's hard for me to take any of this seriously. I'm trying my best to do so though, and try to look at it from your perspective. But again, it's the problem that I'm having, the big problem that I'm having is this line that you guys are drawing in the sand, this specific line of this is offensive and this is not offensive, right? And even if it is offensive, one way or the other, however you decide on that, does that even fucking matter, right? Within a free liberal society, right? Like, should we care?
I said no.
I agree. Should we care within this society? Because we insult people all the time. It happens all the time. We saw people based on their race. We saw people based on their gender. We insult people for a litany of things, right? And how is this, right? This thing of this guy dancing, right, on the devil, and whatever else happened in the video, and the shoes, right? Like, oh wow, I had a drop of blood in it. Like what? Who cares? Like it's just like it's like a funny marketing gimmick, right? Like why does that set you off? Is what I don't understand, right? Like
It's because it's sexy.
Having human blood in a shoe?
Yeah.
It's because it's
biological. So some people literally bleed into their shoes because they walk too much. That's the thing that happens. People bleed into their shoes.
Like, would you? Oh wait, time out.
Soft-bottom
Like
shoes.
some people bleed in their shoes, and like, yeah, no, I've had that happen. You know what? I'm not gonna buy someone's bloody.
No, but that's a different thing. No, but no, that's fine.
Why would you bring it up?
No.
Why would you bring it up?
Holy shit! Let me say, then I will tell you, because like this is a clear a marketing tool. So no, you can say like you're not interested in buying the shoe. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like whether it offends you. So
people who want used shoes are sick.
So stop, please. So Pyro, are you offended about the blood in the shoes? That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm saying like out of everything that's about this, like that's the one thing that puts me off. Offended is a strong word. Like I'm not like, oh no, why would you do that? But I'm like,
fair enough.
I think it's a weird gimmicking tool. Like I don't think I could come and name anything else where they're like, hey, you buy this and you get human blood.
Okay,
like,
sure. Well,
what if
actually,
it came with like a skull or something?
Is it fucking safe?
What if they put like an orangutan jaw on the sole of the shoe?
That would be awesome.
That'd be badass.
I mean, I would probably buy that. That'd be actually badass. Orangutans got pretty damn big teeth.
I'll answer that really dumb hypothetical. No, if they started doing that shit with animals, I wouldn't be approved of that because all that would do is incentivize hunting these animals to get their skulls, make more of these products. And orangutans are already fucking endangered. So maybe if you did it with deer during deer season, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I did that with the jack.
Wow. Sorry. Lots of people. Shut up. Hey, shut up. Thank you.
That was loud.
Yeah, thank you. I'll go to Dan because I said I'll go to Dan, then I'll go to Bink, and then I'll go to Nacho. All right.
Can you put me on after Nacho?
Okay, please. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I just have like a real quick question.
Hold on, Dan. Do you mind him going in front of you?
Go.
All right.
Go for it.
Is not like, 'cause I really don't know, but is not like Satanism or like 666 etc. like associated with like white supremacists?
No. Well, yes and no.
Some white supremacists. Some white supremacists.
There's a group called Adam. There's a group called Adamoffen, which is a sort of has Satanist elements, and there has been Satanist influence. There was pagan elements within the Nazi Party, but no, this is not true. If anything, the largest Satanist organization in America, the Church of Satan, if anything, is a religious freedom organization that argues on the side of religious freedom. So no.
I'm sure there's a group of white people somewhere that are Satanists, but to say that the two are linked is a huge stretch.
Like LaVeyan Satanism is actually it's complicated, but they're an atheistic religion that seeks to develop personal rituals, and it can be applied to anything, which is why some people of all different creeds can adopt it. It's a whole fucking thing. Just go read about it. I put some links in PC.
So let's go to Dan, then Bink, then Paul.
Oh man, well now I'm bummed that Nacho left because this question was kind of directed at him. But I just want to know how all the people who spent all this time bitching about like cancel culture back in 2016, and bitching about people getting offended about literally everything and complaining about SJWs can come around and now get offended about this one thing. Like everybody's
Exactly,
cool.
that's so
Everybody's
dumb.
cool with jokes that make fun of things that offend other people until it's something that offends them, and it's completely ridiculous and it's really really dumb. So my solution
that's called hypocrisy.
yeah, it is. So my solution to this is we just start a religion where
What are you crying
making
about?
Satan
I don't
shoes, making
understand.
Satan shoes. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I crying about something? Or are you crying about my opinion?
It sounded like no. I didn't understand it. I wish you could.
You didn't understand it. Okay, go ahead and ask a question. I'll explain it to you so you understand.
No, just what was your position on? It sounded like you said something about cancel culture.
Yeah, he was saying that why other people are who used to complain about cancel culture. He's talking about conservatives. Why are they who are so butthurt about everything else and say that SJWs are the real problem because they're always offended? How can they come back and be offended on this particular thing? And he was pointing out the hypocrisy in their positions.
Right. Okay.
So he's
okay.
not
okay.
Go ahead, please, Dan.
No, that's fine. He interrupted my train of thought. It's all good though.
Sorry, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody could get offended at everything. That's fine. The difference is, do you ban somebody because they say something offensive?
Because offended.
So you can repeat it now, Dan. You can repeat it to Nacho since he's back.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, there we go. Sweet.
Okay, well, real quick to Kama in chat who said he just didn't hear me. He literally started off by saying, asking if I was crying about something. So pretty dumb. Nacho, so my whole you did. My whole point was, or my question that was intended to be directed at you was, how is it that the very people who spent literally all of like 2016 and 2017 complaining about SJWs, right, and cancel culture, and continue to do so, come around and now get offended about this one thing? And then I pointed out how everybody is okay with making fun of things that offend other people until it's something that offend them. So I would love a response from you.
I don't even really know how to answer that, I guess. I mean, there are certain things, like I would agree that even like the LGBTQ community shouldn't be like attacked personally. Like I'm not gonna like not concede that or whatever, like not give ground there. Like I would say the same, like I said earlier, like I would say the same thing about like Islam or like even Greek mythology or like Native American like gods, etc. Like I just think there's certain things that maybe not necessarily off limits, but it's like it has to be okay. Like so, we've talked about this before. I don't know if it was here on PrimeCayes. I feel like we maybe have, or I've said something about it, but like there, like in the Native American community, there was like certain roles in society where they were like literally designated to like make fun of everything. They were like literally there to shit on everything, from like the constellations to like the most sacred Native American like positions, like the hierarchy, etc. Like they were literally off limits because their whole job was like to just crap on the whole society. Right. So it's like I agree with you there. Like yeah, if it's supposed to be like making fun of things, or like I could see that, but this just doesn't seem like funny. Maybe maybe you could argue that that's because I'm Christian. Like maybe that's because it's attacking my religion, and that would be a fair like
I don't think
argument to make. I do think it might be.
I don't know whether it was supposed to be funny though.
I think maybe this might just be because like this is your religion. Like
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they had replaced
at its core, comedy is just criticism, right? But it's criticism that makes us laugh. So anyway, you can in a sense like equate these two things. And then also I know that you're like a huge freedom of speech advocate, so this seems like hypocrisy from two like different sides.
That's what I'm saying. Like I would agree. Yeah, it's hard for me to say like I don't know. That's why I had a trouble earlier because somebody asked me to basically offer like a prescription to this. Like I don't really know what I would say to that because, like you said, like in my heart, like I'm more libertarian on almost everything. Like I don't want anybody to be censored. I don't want anybody. I am, like you said, like free speech. So I don't really know what the prescription here would be like. But I
Say
just
whatever
feel
you
like
want.
so
Just let him
maybe
say
like
what he wants. That's what you say about everything else, right?
maybe, but
Let
it's like
people
maybe
say what they want.
societally, maybe true, but it's like societally, like maybe we should just be, like raising our children, maybe like raising our families to be more
Like that Simpsons think of the
socially
children
aware.
so that's what you're saying.
This
So
is,
it's
and I'm
not-
going to shut up after this. I'm going to but what you just said is what the left has been preaching to you all along. But now you found no, hold on. Now you found something that hurts you or that bugs you. And
Oh,
so
God,
now you feel like preaching to everybody else.
that smile.
No.
You do realize this, right? Yeah.
I see what you're trying to say, but the point that I
I
would
know
make is
you
that
do.
one is trying to like prescribe this through policy, and the other, like I would suggest prescribing this like or trying to like the solution is through like socially.
Yeah,
Is
if you
that
want to
fair
talk
to like
me
say like
after I say
No.
something,
No.
it's okay.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so okay, so I would like me like when me and my wife have these conversations like it doesn't matter what we think or what our values are, what our religion is, like we would be teaching our children to be accepting of our children, not be like bullying other kids, etc. Like so that would be a more social prescription to this versus like you like pushing for policy that's going to make this like quote unquote hate speech and it's going to make it like a finable offense. So like, and I'm not saying this is your position specifically, but this is some of the left position.
We got
How are we going to protect Christians from people dancing around as the devil?
What? So we got to move down this. So Pyro has your hand up. We'll go to Bink, Paul, Pyro.
So I just wanted to say, like,
Bink, sorry, Bink, Paul, Pyro. Bink first.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Wow, it's my turn. Wow. Okay. So, I'll address a few things. So, you guys said how if people supposed to be offended. I personally feel like if you're like Christian, you shouldn't be offended for anything because my stance on conversion is really unique, and I feel like if you are a person who is a Christian and you're trying to convert people, I don't think people are out here like outwardly being like blaspheming or talking shit about their like how do I explain it? If they are doing things that would be considered blasphemy or if they're doing shit that would be considered a sin, I don't think that necessarily matters. You're trying to get the word of God out. It's
I
not
don't try to
like I
convert
don't
anybody though.
understand why people
That's
are
not my
like
perspective.
no, I'm just saying because people are asking. I'm pretty sure somebody asked sometime like I forgot what the question was, but I wrote down notes. I said that basically if you want to convert people, you can convert people. Their sins before. It doesn't matter if you say that you're going to convert them and that they're going to like be washed under the blood and their sins are all forgiven. Like that doesn't matter. Okay. The next thing I think that these stuff like is people are being sensitive for no damn reason. So I remember what is it Nacho was talking about like people that like there's Christians on the left and everything. Okay, so I have a stance and I've said this on other streamers chat and everything. I think that we should be more I think people are more valid to be offended when people are like guys, you believe in fairy tales and your god is a spaghetti monster. I'd rather you be offended in that than people out here like grinding on Satan. Like people are just out here like wilding, and I said that as I said because like I advocate for people.
I'm sorry, I
to be more-
really didn't hear you though. What did you say right before that though?
I said, oh wait, what did you hear?
Something about like right before you said like this is what you should be more mad about.
Be more about
grinding on Satan.
more offended about the spaghetti monster rather than this, right?
You should be more. I rather if you're talking about the left, because I've criticized like the left when it comes to religious / spiritual people before. I'd rather you be more upset, like if people are talking about like you believe in fairy tales or spaghetti monster or stuff that doesn't exist, I'd rather you get more offended than that versus people who are grinding on Satan. Like that shouldn't be your prerogative if you are personally like, I believe in X, Y, and Z. Oh my gosh, why do you say that? I think there's a difference between like personally attacking somebody based off of like religion versus like, oh shit, fuck my. Okay, guys, I'm finna eat. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Oh, all right. I don't know what happened, but sure.
I actually gotta go. I'm gonna head out.
Okay, buddy.
So
Oh, could you
have a good
check
night,
out the
everybody.
before you do that? Could you check out the
Also,
waiting
if
room?
you believe in religion, oh yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'll try. I'm on my phone, so I'll try.
Okay.
I
Love
will.
you, Kobe.
Also, if you believe in religion, you believe in fairy tales. Okay, I just want to say that.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Okay. Moving on. Down that list. Okay. We got Paul. Pyro.
I was gonna say, Nacho, it probably is that it is your religion. That is why you're probably so bent about it. And I'm not saying you're not allowed to be, but I think because okay, so if LilNasX, if this whole thing was say hypothetically about Native Americans, right? And he had like Sitting Bull sitting there with like his fucking feather headdress on, and was doing the stereotypical like rain dance or whatever, I would be pretty fucking mad. But since they're not doing that and they're doing something based off Christianity, I don't think that's why it's affecting me as much. And I think because it is your religion, it is not biased, but persuading your thought on the situation would, well, yeah, biased. I think that's why you're so upset about it. And I think if you look
I've
at it,
admitted that already. Like,
okay, then never mind. I said what was useless.
Okay.
Well, I didn't say that. I'm just trying to.
So let's go to.
But I do
sorry,
think if you look at it from a more bystander point of view, you won't. You might think about it a little differently if you look at it as a. How do you say it? Like a whole, like a group thing, I guess you could say. Like I don't know.
Maybe, but I was just saying, like I said that earlier. Like I don't think I would go out of my way to make the same kind of insults or jokes or etc. Like
yeah,
against anyone else's position. Like
I mean, I don't think you
Islam
shouldn't be allowed to do it. That's your personal thing.
And that's
I'm
what I
not
said
gonna
too. Like I don't know what the prescription is. I don't know if I would say like.
Do.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say like I would vote for policy that would make this illegal. Like I definitely wouldn't go
but
that
what
far.
I think, okay, you know what? You could do whatever you want to do. You want to, dress up as a Native American and go hey in the middle of the street and be racist as fuck. Do it. I don't care. But I'm not gonna put in laws that inhibit you from doing that. I'm gonna think you're an asshole for doing it.
I didn't say
but I'm
that
not
either.
gonna stop you from doing it. That's my
But I
thing
didn't say
on
that
that.
either.
That's what I'm saying.
Like Denigram literally just asked me that, and I actually just said I don't actually know what the prescription
I
would necessarily
think
be. I said
people have the
more. I
right
would
to
push
be an
this more
asshole if they
socially
want
than I
to
would
a certain degree.
like policy wise.
Mm-hmm. As long as you are
I-
not actively harassing someone, I think you should have the right to say what you want to say, as long as it's legal in other contexts. I think you should be able
I
to
think you
say
should
what
just
you
pay
want to
attention
say.
to what's being said on the panel. That's
So let's go to.
I was.
You
I'm
missed
just
a lot.
okay.
Let's go to Pyro, then Rage, then Nick. Does anyone else have their hand up? Okay, I guess that's it. So Drum, I see your hand. All right.
So, like, I just wanted to ask Nacho because he said, like, he'd try and push it socially. Like, in what ways? Like, that aren't legislation, like...
Okay, like, if I was raising my kids, obviously, like, my like me and my wife have talked about this. We're gonna raise our kids from a more, like, Christian background, but we're also gonna be, like, we're not afraid to be like, I don't know, and we're gonna teach them as much science as we can. Like, but if my kids were, like, come home and be making fun of like Muslims or Native Americans or like the Greek mythology or etc. and being like, oh yeah, these idiots are believing this because they've never read the Bible. Like I would be like, hey, look, hold on. Like,
Well,
so this
see,
is just
like,
something that So that's what I mean by socially. Like, I would
So like
my
I
kids
understand that, right? Like I understand that, Nacho. The thing is, you
That's
can
what I mean.
already do that. That's a thing that no one's preventing you from doing. I did it, like
He
Prime, like
thinks though they're
I'm
gonna
sure
eventually do
everyone
that.
did it.
Coming
Second,
from.
I'm not hold on. Second, I'm not sure like the little Nas video is like, haha, they're stupid. So like that's a separate point, but like you can already do what you're talking about. No one's stopping you and like the rest of society from doing that. Seems like society's just like, yo, religion's not that important anymore. Like it seems to be okay. Maybe it seems like you're more connected to this because you're Christian. So like maybe it's
I've admitted that already.
That's what I'm
already.
no.
saying.
I'm just saying
Really?
like it just seems like that's behind a lot of your mindset with this because again like you can already do the things you're talking about, so can other Christians, and they are, and loudly doing so, might I add.
So let's
like go ahead, Brim.
No problem. Sorry, are we done? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, I was done. Like
Okay.
that's it. Like you can already do what you're talking about. No one's stopping you.
So let's go to
right.
Oh, did you want to respond to that, Nacho?
No, I mean I'm just saying like you're right that we have the possibility to do that, but it's clear that not very many people are doing that because otherwise we wouldn't have people attacking other people's religions, cultures, backgrounds, races, and their like sexual or gender preferences, whatever. Like you know what I mean? Like
Well, that would bring it back to the question. Like then, without legislation, what do you want to do to fix this? Because without legislation, you can do what you want to do, and like just the fucking fact that society ain't doing shit about it, tough luck. But if you want to do legislation, well, then that's a different fucking conversation now, isn't it? But like, I want to hand it back to Prime because he's been trying to move it along.
Okay, well, real quick, I would just say maybe that this isn't necessarily something that can be legislated, and this is more something that we should be socially, culturally trying to focus on, and not like generally just not being dicks to each other, like period.
So it's Nick and then Durham. Nick.
Yeah, I believe actually Rage was after.
Oh, sorry. Did I
before
skip? I did skip Rage. I apologize, Rage. Rick, Nick, Durham, and then the new person. I think you raised your hand. The guy in red. What's your name again?
My name's Anthony.
Anthony? Okay. All right. So go ahead, Rage. I apologize. I didn't mean to skip you.
Hey man, before you get started, I'm gonna jump off. I'll see you guys later.
Have a good one. Anthony.
I'm Malcolm.
I'm sorry, Rage.
All right, so a lot of things I haven't talked in a little bit. I think I understand with what American Nacho is saying about not pushing legislation, just trying to teach people to be polite, respect people, don't you insult people for no reason. However, it's art. I don't care who you insult in art. You can do whatever you want as long as you're not, let's see, breaking the law, because you don't want to do that. You'll get in trouble. I don't know. I actually watched the video. I didn't listen to it because, well, I don't know.
I'm gonna paint some swastikas tomorrow.
Probably, well, it depends on where you are. It might be a little.
You do that in Germany, your grass is grass, dude.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. That's fine.
Literally, they'll.
I guess maybe that's my point. It's like, where's the line? I guess I don't know.
No. I mean, it's fine. You can do that. No, you.
Is that fair? I don't know.
You literally can do that. I'm just saying. Go.
I wouldn't do that though.
Okay, great. Well, then I don't know why you're saying that you're doing it. But okay, let Rage finish his point, please, Rage.
He wanted to see.
Yeah, I know. Please, Paul, please.
We know what to look for in the news tomorrow.
Everyone, please. Rage.
I was just gonna say, I watched the video, and I'm like even less impressed, or even less, even more confused why people are upset. Because like, maybe I'm desensitized to how extreme things can get on the internet. But like that wasn't extreme. That wasn't a big deal. I don't know. It's just this whole thing is really confusing to me now. The thing that did, I think, the lady who was on here, she said that people should be more offended about people calling like religion fairy tales. Well, I still think people should be able to. They should say whatever they want to say about religion. But I do think there is something there with the people who do get offended. Why are they more offended about this than about? Well, I guess maybe they are offended when people call them fairy tales, but I would think that would be something they should focus on more instead of this. I did have another point that was, I don't know, Maybe I lost it. Maybe I'll have to come back to me about it.
So, Rage, I would say that this wasn't an offense for no reason, like in terms of the video. There was a reason behind it, absolutely. Nick, we're getting a lot of background noise from you, like a lot of background noise, like a creaking of a chair or something, whatever. Thank you. Yeah, if you can mute yourself, thank you. But Rage, this wasn't for no reason. Once again, this is because of how Christianity has the damage, it's the psychological, emotional damage Christianity has done to LilNasX, right? So this was a statement against Christianity and those things that it stands for, the bigotry that it's empowered. So that's
Well,
like,
I get that statement.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I don't understand why Christians got offended. Like I don't.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right.
I guess when I watch that, I don't get mad. I don't know.
Okay.
I just don't relate to it.
So we'll go to Nick, Dern, and then Anthony. Nick. Oh, did you just step away? All right. Oh, all right. Well, then we'll go to oh, hold on, he's back. Hey, Nick, it's your turn.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No problem.
2-year-old I'm watching. Yeah, I think something I find kind of interesting about this, and usually I get really heated when I have to talk about Abrahamic faith and their place in the world. But when I watch this video, I don't see mockery, right? What I see is an uncomfortable mirror, right? So Christianity has spent 2,000 years telling gay men, gay women, whatever, people who do anything against their religion that they're literally the devil. And here you have a gay man presenting himself as usurping the devil and being the devil, right? This is affirming of Christian doctrine, right? In a public way that makes Christians uncomfortable. And this is part and parcel of what powerful groups do when they're confronted with the truth about themselves. They point the finger and say, don't make fun of me. Well, the reality is he's not making fun of you. He's accurately representing you, and you don't like it. And we don't, in this society, especially people who advocate for free speech, have any, I don't think you have any ground to stand on when you say, yeah, don't accurately represent me. Don't accurately represent my ideas. Don't show a debaucherous homosexual man dancing on the devil and representing himself as the devil, as you have done for thousands of years. This is not mockery. This is not an attack. This is an uncomfortable mirror. And I'm sorry that Christians have to look at this, right? But it's the truth. And I think that if you're going to be a Christian, you need to look at it and say, yeah, I have to own that because that's my religion. That's an accurate depiction of my boogeyman, right? I catch flack all the time about people saying because my faith rejects all forms of morality, rejects all forms of right and wrong. And they say, yeah, what about this? And I have to say, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's not good or evil, right? They say, what about murdering babies? Yeah. Not good or evil.
Prime, set up a poll of who's like the craziest on the stream right now, and we'll all vote.
Up a mirror.
So
that's all I have to say.
I win, dude. I already win.
So
maybe Can I not be putting this poll?
So okay, let's go to.
I already know I'm a dumbass.
Let's move on to Derm. The Anthony guy, I think he popped off unfortunately, but Derm.
Yeah. Look, guys, the entire time you're discussing this the way World of Warcraft stream would be discussing lore. The reality is that there are tens of millions of people in North America that, let's say, legitimately believe if you're gay, you will spend the rest of your life being tortured in hell for all eternity.
Right. Okay.
This isn't like an abstract, weird, faraway thing. There are people that want to send their kids to like straight camp because they're actually worried that otherwise they'll be tortured by the devil. As fucking insane as it sounds to us, there are tens, if not hundreds of millions of people just in North America that legitimately base their life around this. So just looking at it in the way of, oh, okay, well, yeah, who gives a shit if two guys get married? There are people whose entire life revolves around their God saying how you'll go to hell if that happens.
So what?
Exactly. It's terrible.
Boo.
So what? Boo who? Like exactly. Boo the fuck who? In my worldview and my grandma's worldview, you know, it's really bad if you cook rice the wrong way. You'll go to hell. Like boo the fuck who? Get over it. This is like America. You can do what
I
the fuck you
completely
want.
agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's not a big deal. Those people should get over
Rice
it.
is fucking yummy.
Like yeah, like that's the social contract we all signed when we unfortunately were either born in this fucked up country or immigrated here. Like yeah, like religion ain't enforced by the government. Boo-hoo.
Thank God I'm Canadian, not
Well, yeah,
American. I'll say that.
So,
but no, I do agree with you. But every single time people look at like the crazy religious people as the crazy religious right wing ridiculous people, they go more and more into the little corner. They get more and more backed up. That's how you get those people that think like Bill Gates is trying to fucking microchip them.
I mean, like
It's
they do it to everybody else. They
being
do it
honest
to
and congruent
everybody
about what
else
they are.
though. Like they do
That's
it to
what they always
literally
were.
everybody. Like they do it to literally everybody else. The thing you're describing, where they're not charitable, that millions of other people might think differently than them. Like whenever they go after anybody else, they do 10 times worse than like, oh, we're making a video where someone is twerking on the devil. Like 10 times worse. Like
Wouldn't, if Christians hate homosexuals apparently so much, wouldn't they want to like embarrass the devil by having a man on him?
I don't know what Christians would want. I don't know how
That's
they
what I'm
think.
trying to say. If they hate the
Modern day
devil and homosexuals,
Christianity is so
you put
like
them together, it's a pretty good roast.
Modern day Christianity.
But if
Are you a
Christian?
Christianity is a hodgepodge of hypocrisy. I don't know, like
I went to Catholic high school. I can't say that
like what? I don't. You think this would be a sick burn?
I grew up in a Roman and Latin Catholic house. It was pretty rough.
So
but
let's
once you grow up, you realize how
let's
fucking
move
insane
on
it is.
to was it? Sorry, Jeremy. Just want to make sure you're done. Make sure of that.
Yeah, I'll just repeat myself. Go ahead.
Okay, Anthony. I think you're back. Dream.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So like, you know, it's easy to say that like you're not offended by something, right? Like you could say, oh well, why are they offended by this? You know, it's not my beliefs. You know, I don't think that this is offensive. But you know, just the same as you would get offended over something that if the Christians insulted, you know, why would you then in turn go, well, why are they offended?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
That wasn't the argument. The argument was that, like, at least, excuse me, wasn't my argument. So maybe some other people were making that argument. I mean, it was part of it, but the main part is that, like, so what if you are offended? Like, people have the right to offend, here, right? Like, so, like, I acknowledge that Nacho is offended. That I don't question that, and sure, but like, people have the right to be offended within a liberal society. Right, or right to offend in a liberal society. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's the point I'm making. Is
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
Little Nas has the right to produce that music video. He has the right to sell those shoes.
Sure.
That's all be it. I mean, it might be a little bit of biological concern, you know, blood in the shoe. But besides that, you know, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to
Imagine
do what
if
he's
this is how
doing.
Ebola breaks
It's
out in
okay for us to
America.
bitch about it, and it's okay for him to do it.
All right.
Yeah. So
Nacho.
if my position still isn't clear, I guess like I'm not saying that like you know the government should step in and like stop him from doing this, because at the end of the day, like I'm more libertarian at heart. Like do whatever you want. Like I can't fault you for that, but I would just hope that societally, like we got to be better, like from all aspects. Like, and I would ask the same thing of like Christians, like you were saying something about Christian, like if I may just give my perspective, like and obviously I feel like I probably don't represent the majority of Christians, honestly. Like I know this, but you know I studied a lot more into science. I studied into many other religions. I studied into Buddhism. I studied into like Native American gods. I studied into like Greek mythology. I read the Quran. Like, so I studied other religions, and I basically like left all religion behind, and then I studied a lot of science, and then it basically drove me back to this. But either way, like I wouldn't, like I don't see from studying like the Sanskrit texts and other religious texts, I don't see like hell as this place that like everyone is damned to. Like
it's actually in the oldest form that the hell is talked about is simply just like a passage on. So everyone has to go through this place. It's like a short period, whatever you go on through this place, depending on how whatever your sins are, I'm sure. Like, but that's me generalizing as much as I can, like trying to get too deep into this stuff. But like, so obviously, I'm sure that I don't represent like the majority of Christians, but it's like I would just hope that the majority of society would just be better people, I guess.
I think what he's doing is stupid. I
better?
think the government
I
should
don't know if that makes
intervene.
sense.
But
No, I don't think that
I live in Canada, not in Russia. In Russia, the government would intervene. In Canada, they won't. That's why you guys live in North America and not in Russia, because they're not going to shoot somebody for spreading a stupid music video.
So,
I mean, it's okay being outraged. That's the entire point. We're supposed to be outraged. That's fine.
I just want some clarity. You keep saying be better. You'd hope that we would be better, right? When confronted with an accurate depiction of your religion's beliefs, what do you mean by be better other than be more Christian or be more sensitive to Christians?
Yeah, but that's also from your perspective too. So it's like,
well, like that's the thing.
you know what I'm
Be
saying?
better
Like,
from your
like
perspective.
I could say something. Like I could probably make some generalized statements about your ability to parent, and say this is a mirror. This is a mirror of who you are as a parent. And obviously, you would look at that and you'd be like, no, it's not. Like that doesn't represent me at all.
You could show me a picture of me talking on Discord with my kid playing with toys, and that would be a mirror. And if that offended me, that would be my problem. But you keep saying,
but that's not
you
what
would hope
that's
that we
not
would
that's
be
not even close to
better.
the same. Like
You would hope that
Lil
we'd be
Nas
better.
working on
What does that
somebody
mean?
is
What would
nothing
be more
close
Christian?
to what I would even consider anything resembling, like closely resembling, not even close to what I would say would be.
What
like,
is
a mirror.
Satan
Like I'm
and
not a perfect
homosexuality other
person
than
by any
debauchery
means.
to you? To Christianity, what is it other than that? And again, you're just obfuscating the question, which is,
So
what do
you
you
think
mean
that
by
every
be better
Christian is
than
a
be more
homosexual
Christian?
who wants to dance on Satan? Like I don't
No,
understand.
what I think is that when Christians talk about homosexuality and they talk about homosexualities and they equate them with the devil, and when they have an image of the devil that is debauchery, that is your version of evil, what I'm looking at is a very accurate depiction of your devil. Also, you're still obfuscating the question is, what do you mean by you'd hope we'd be better other than just you'd hope we'd be more Christian?
So, okay, maybe okay. That's the last part is maybe fair to say. Like maybe you would hope that we'd be more Christian. Like that's probably fair. Okay, but the other, like that's why I went through the like I spent the time to like kind of try to give my perspective, because I understand that my perspective of and my faith of Christianity or my views on Christianity aren't necessarily the majority, at least not right now. Like I have many people from the right and who are Christians who challenge me on that and will say like, what are you talking about? Like hell is definitely an eternal place that you go forever and ever and ever, and it's not just a passage through onto the next onto the eternal life or whatever. Like this is nothing, there's no citing of this in the Sanskrit text, and I cite these things and I give the links, and then they're like, oh well shit, what are you talking about? Like
Vedic and Zoroastrian hell is not, I mean, you did get it from us, but
so you
it's
get what
not
I'm
the
saying,
same
like,
thing. First of all, but second of all, it's not hell, it's the image of the devil. How is this not an accurate, like, now I'm legitimately curious. Can you explain to me how this image of the devil that Lil Nas puts up is inaccurate? How is that not your devil?
Okay, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead. Say something, and then I want to move on to other people. So, go ahead, say something.
I kind of just want to. I don't know what his name is. He's got a long beard. Religion, whether you think that it's real or not, like all religions, all of the books, all say the same thing, all of them. In a nutshell, it all boils down to the same thing.
No, we do not.
Excuse me?
No, we do not say the same thing at all. We
What?
are
That all religions, all religious
could
texts
not be
basically
more
boil
different.
down to the same thing.
Well, okay, so what do you think?
They do not in any way.
So let me say. Well, Anthony, what do you think it boils down to?
Well, all right. So, like, if we take like just 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. Like, those are all just morals. At the end of the day, whether you believe that there's a great big God in the sky, it doesn't really matter. Those stories in those books are there to teach you lessons about how to take
My
care of
religion
one
totally
another.
rejects morals. Totally rejects the existence of morals and an objective right and wrong.
Okay, that's another. I mean, it's a deep
But
rabbit hole there.
what I'm trying to get
that's a
into is
diversion
that
from
if
the
if
discussion,
if we
but
boil religion down to a moral book that points us out to right and wrong, Little Nas twerking on the devil, to somebody that would read those books and take it at face value, those things might be very unsettling to some people
he's
because
representing
all
the
right,
wrong.
it's not Satan like as a person. Satan is representing the evil in the world,
So
and Little Nas twerking on the evil in the world.
get okay.
You understand what I'm trying to get at?
No. So okay, let's try this again. All right. So what does them being unsettled have to do with anyone else in a liberal society? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like
unsettled?
Yeah. You're saying okay, that this is a thing that will offend. Okay, great. We've established that very much so. Right. So.
But I'm not saying that it's offending. I'm saying why it's offending.
Yeah. No. That's fine. Well, who cares? Like why it's offending? We got that why it's offensive. You don't have to tell us that. We get that part. But beyond that, the fact that they are unsettled, what difference does it make to anyone? Like, what difference should that make to Lil Nas? What difference that to make to?
Because that comes back to what American Nacho was saying.
Yeah.
He might hope that we'd all just be better, whether or not you believe in the religion. But
So you mean more Christians?
So
no, I mean just respect one another.
By saying don't all religions
just respect
believe
the morals in the book.
So okay. So back to this, right? Back to this. That this seems like a very liberal way of looking at things, right? It's like, oh yeah, let's worry about symbols, right, rather than actual harm done, right? So I hope we could all be better. I hope we can all be kind.
I'm hearing you talk about harm done over and over again, and then pointing your finger at Christianity.
And I'm pointing your finger.
Do a lot
Sorry,
of harm.
yeah, because they do a lot of harm. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
So
the Christians are definitely enslaving people off the coast of Somalia.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
hold on. So that doesn't mean fucking. Hold on, dude. Hold on.
We've done as much harm as everyone else.
Are you kidding me? Like that? Like so? Your whataboutism is not going to work here. Not at all. You're the wrong place. If you think it's going to work here.
Isn't that exactly what you're doing? You're doing whataboutism.
No. I'm talking. We're talking about Christianity. How is this whataboutism? We're talking about Christianity. So, and the point of this music video, right, was to respond to the bigotry within Christianity. That's the point of the music video, right? The bigotry that LilNasX was and many others in the LGBT community have faced from Christians, right? This was the point of the video. So that's why I'm bringing up the things that Christians have done to the LGBT community, right? Not whataboutism, literally on subject. So bringing up the fucking people enslaving people off of some random, not gonna work. All right, you can try it, but it's not gonna work.
If the Bible literally tells people,
one at a time. So yeah, again, within the liberal society, right? Try it again. Within a liberal society, why should anyone else care? Why should a liberal democracy? Excuse me. Why should anyone else care if someone is offended for their religion? Anthony?
Why should someone care? Well, look, I'm not over religious. I've been an atheist most of my life, but I'm not going to sit here and spit on other people's beliefs. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So,
I mean,
to
when you
each
say
their
we're all
own,
Christians, you
and
do.
maybe people are bad Christians. And that's just the thing. The people that are attacking the LGBT community, maybe they should go back and read the book because I don't think they're understanding the lessons that the book is trying to teach.
Can I try, Prime?
Try, please.
I think it's so the Christians are upset. That's good. That's dandy. It is their patriotic American right to be upset. They can be upset. Why should me, a person who is also Christian, just so you guys can know, who really does not give a fuck who LilNasX is or what he does, why should I be offended that he's doing something I disagree with? Like, why should I care? Like, they can be offended. That's cool. They can raise a fuss. That's cool. Why should I care? That's the question. Why should other people give a fuck?
All right. So, why should I give a fuck about anything that you say?
Okay, so then let's just say the N-word. Let's just do it all.
I mean, why should I care? Why should I care about offending
do that?
No,
You shouldn't.
I mean,
that's the point.
But no, but
I mean,
see,
like
but I
that, yeah,
do.
like that,
Like I
that,
wouldn't go
that's,
out of my way to offend
but
somebody,
like
right?
that's your personal choice, right? Like if I want to call you a dumb fuck toilet slurping McGeezak, I could. I'm not gonna do that because like that's fucking rude as shit, right? Like I
That's
could though. I
mean.
could make that. I could make that decision, and everyone would fucking hate me and call me stupid. I could, but I'm not going to. You could say something really horrible to me about my dumb fucking opinions,
Why
right?
is that?
And
Is
like,
that because you have some sense of moral code?
yeah, that's because I have a personal axiom in my head that says, yo, maybe I shouldn't be rude to people on stream and whatnot because maybe I don't understand the points they're coming from fully. That's my personal axiom. But like other people may not follow that. I can be offended by what you say, but why should someone else care? Why should Prime care? Why should Nacho care? Why should Chinchilla care that I'm offended by what you say? Why should they care?
I think
Because
that's a
then maybe
great
they're
take.
not very good people.
Oh,
Wait,
you're calling me
What is good?
If you
tried
is
our best.
Muslim and I'm Christian, we're gonna disagree
We tried our best
about our religion.
So,
but at the end of the day,
so-
you agree to
Like
disagree.
as long as I'm not Senator Pyro, where it's like, oh, I disagree with you, well, you're gonna be fucking court ordered to shut up, right? Like, yeah, I'm just Pyro. Like, I don't really care. Like, that's just a personal thing, whether or not I think you're a good person or not. So I'll give it back to Prime with that. That's how
I'm not sure we're gonna get any farther with this, unfortunately. But let's. There are two people who haven't gotten a chance to talk. I'm gonna make sure they have that chance. So we have Ninetales, and then we have Kama. Kama.
Kama, yeah,
Yeah,
Kama.
yeah. All right. So we'll go to Ninetales first, and then
Cheers.
Kama. Sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was trying to like find a point to grab onto. I definitely don't think it matters if religious people are offended or not. You know, they've had more superiority than inferiority, especially in North America. This will be a culturally specific thing, so you know maybe Europe will handle this differently, or somewhere like Asia might handle it differently. But I think here in North America, they've had a free ride. They don't need protected rights that are being assigned to people who genuinely need them. As far as like someone pointed out, like they don't understand how they can see something that like homosexuals and it's offensive one way, but then like, well, how come he's not also insulting the devil? These people don't actually hold themselves to standards. Now, first of all, they're a melting pot, so you're going to find people who react to one thing and an overlap with people who react to another within these differentiated groups. But for the most part, the people who are like their grift is to be offended by everything, they're gonna be opportunists. They're just gonna see anything that could be construed as offensive and rally their fans to be offended along with them. So I think there's a lot of answers, but the main thing is that like as long as they want to be offended, they will be, and things like this just provide an opportunity.
Yeah, I think a big reason why Christians seem so offended about this is because they feel attacked at the moment. Generally, they wouldn't give a shit. It's because nowadays they'll look for literally anything that seems like it'll attack them because that's kind of the narrative right now.
Yeah.
If this happened 5 years ago under Trump, nobody would give a shit because they wouldn't feel like they were being attacked.
I think that might be something to that. Let's go to Kama. Oh yeah. Kama.
Yeah, Kama.
And then Shower.
So it just listening, it feels like part of what people are saying is like, yeah, okay, he said, he did this thing, find it offensive or not, like, but we're just trying to like just the expectation is like we'll just be better, like just be nice. And I just feel like that's so removed from like his specific situation. It's not like he's some random it's not like he just walked in like he's some atheist, had nothing to do with Christianity, walked in, was just like Christianity sucks, and then everyone's like, that's kind of dick to just shit on something. Like he's coming from a very personal experience. So like I feel like he has the room to like use those things and those those icons and those figures and those characters and all of those things to like make the point that he's trying to make of his life and his experiences. Like he's not just randomly coming in like I have nothing to do with like Native American religion, and so it'd be like really shitty of me to just walk and be like, all this sucks, this is shit, like I'm gonna just do whatever I want. Like people would be right to say like that's really rude, you're kind of a dick. But he's not doing that.
If everyone could just be nice, we'd have nothing to talk about tonight.
No, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying
honestly.
that's what it feels like everyone's trying to say. Is like what not just
But, like-
necessarily like socially, we should just like expect people to be better. And it's like, what do you mean better in this case? Like he's trying to share his experience through a thing that he grew up with. Like he's
Yeah.
allowed to kind of shit on it. Like
The problem I have with that whole mentality is like you could literally boil down everything to that sentiment. Oh, prison inequality. Well, it'd be simpler if we all would just be better. Like it's just nothing.
Okay.
It's like a nothing sentence.
It solves nothing. Yeah.
All right.
Your position
I
that
have a-
basically like because someone is because Christianity has done a horrible thing could be I could
Yeah.
flip the same thing and say like, oh, because Africa was
boy.
like the
Oh,
pinnacle
boy.
of like
Oh, boy.
educational and like innovative society at one point in humanity, does that mean that they deserve to be enslaved? No.
Oh,
we never
God.
say that.
Jesus
We never-
Christ.
Every successful
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
society
I
has
wouldn't
done
have touched
horrible
that with a
things.
10-foot pole, bro.
Spicy take, but I mean, if people across the globe, people were going to Africa to study because they had the best scholars. They had the highest education on the planet. People were traveling literally across the globe to go to Africa to study. Does that mean that just because African society was at the pinnacle at some point in society, that they some way deserve to be taken down a notch? Like,
I'm not
no, I
gonna
don't
say
That's
they
a completely other thing.
All right.
Either you are a slave or you are a slaver, but that's like a
like
completely.
no one's like I don't think anyone's saying they deserved it. Like it's just a
No.
thing. Like
Okay, well,
at least I'm
All
not.
right.
I'm not saying they fucking
Oh
deserve it. I'm
boy,
just saying I
oh boy,
don't
this is
fucking
getting
care.
super weird.
You guys said that, but
Oh, Kama, let's get back to your point because you were trying to say something.
The whole
Can
point
you-
I was just trying to make is that I feel like this conversation got away from the fact that like he has his own personal tie to why he used this imagery, and so like
Do you think
to
that
say
that
that
would
he's
be
being
okay with
just
the Nazi and Jews?
Oh boy. Okay.
what? No,
So
What
if
if
I hypothetically, if I
Okay.
grew up in a Jewish household and my Jewish parents beat the shit out of me and molested me or did whatever horrible things to me, right? And I grew up to be a neo-Nazi, is that acceptable then? Because they, did so much bad shit to me.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
man.
I'm waiting for an
no,
answer.
wait.
Man.
I gotta ask this. At what point? Hold up, wait, no. I gotta ask this. I really got. At what point is Lil Nas like, I'm a fucking Satanist? He's selling some edgy fucking merch.
I'm not saying I don't really give a fuck with Lil Nas.
Well, no,
X,
but like
though.
in your hypothetical, the dude's a fucking neo-Nazi because he had like
Yeah.
a bad childhood.
I'm not saying Lil Nas X
Yeah,
is.
so
I'm
like
saying
the comparison
anyone.
doesn't make sense.
No,
Okay,
but
cool.
you're-
Okay, can you answer the question then?
Yeah, the comparison doesn't make sense. There's no point in
All right,
answering.
cool.
it.
Then don't
make
answer the
sense.
question.
There's no
It's
comparison.
not a
In one-
comparison.
in one
For
end-
Christians.
in
All
one
right,
end,
cool.
he's
So you
making
just
it
don't
nice.
And I'll
In
answer
one
the
end,
Comparison
he's
other.
is,
making art.
Hitler wasn't so bad because he had a bad childhood.
Yeah.
That's the comparison.
Yes.
That's not.
Oh man.
This is not justification.
it's just
for
no.
anything.
So
He was also a Christian, so there's that.
Mission failed. Try again.
so
He was
All right.
also
So
a
what if
vegan,
the
but what does that
neo-Nazi
say?
grew up was Jewish when he was a kid? Like that's what you're saying.
No.
If you grow up, oh my god.
no, I'm just saying that people are saying Lil Nas should be nicer and not use other people's religious
I think
like,
it's kind
icons.
of funny what he did. If I'm not gonna lie.
There's so
Okay,
many
but it's
levels
like-
of
It's a
hypothetical
religious
in.
But
icon
through
of
that-
a tradition he grew up in and is a victim of. They're
That's the
not
point I'm,
other people's icons. They're his icons.
that's the point I'm making. It's like
Yeah.
he's just using what
But is he currently a Christian though, or no?
but that's what he grew up in. Like he's speaking to his own experiences through
Oh,
the
okay.
icons and the imagery that he grew up with, trying to make art about what he went through and what he's experienced and what he's grown from that. And so like to say, oh, he just
his
needs to be
own
nicer and not use our religious icons or our religious imagery is like, but he's not
So, like-
he's using his own.
Yeah, this presupposes that it's
I
sacred,
thought it was-
and it's
I-
really
Can
not.
I fix the hypothetical
Alright.
then? Like, if some Jewish kid was raised in like a really bad conservative Jewish household where like all the same things we know about conservative Christianism happens in like Judaism, like yeah, if that happens and it's the exact same thing, and then like he makes a song about like yo how this was shit and like it's one of their gods, I would not have a problem. But if he grew up to be a fucking neo-Nazi,
Yeah.
I'd have a fucking problem.
Okay,
If
that's
Lil
all I
Nas is-
wanted to know.
if-
That's
no, but like I just
fine.
gotta say, like I'm saying it too. Like if Lil Nas is one of those like anti-Christian, really
Yeah, I'm not
radical,
saying what
like,
he
and,
did
like,
is equivalent to a fucking neo-Nazi. I wasn't trying to say that.
made.
This video is also not an attack on Christianity.
Yeah.
It's a representation
of what they accurately
Didn't he like just do a
believe
fucking
about
Christmas song like 2 months ago or some shit too? Like
he's obviously doing it for popularity. It's just a matter of
No,
his
like
music
how
videos are
no,
far
this
are you
is
willing to go.
so this.
If Drake made a music video in Auschwitz, you would say, okay, that's way too far. That's
Jesus
fucked up.
Christ.
So okay.
Yeah, that's an extreme example, but
So
so
okay.
is fucking selling
Yeah.
shoes with blood in them. What the fuck?
Okay. So
Yeah, that's kind
so
of
I
nasty.
wanna.
Million. Never mind.
So
It was bait.
So anyway, I want so
Fine.
so hold on. Strawberry was in line. Chinchilla, you want to go afterwards? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go strawberry then chinchilla. But before that, I want to respond to something that was said previously. Saying well, why not simply say the N word? Right. So let's not pretend these two things are the same. Lil Nas X, dancing on a dude playing the devil, right? As compared to words with a history, right? A centuries-long history of oppression against people who literally cannot change their characteristics, right? Like these things are equivalent. Like that's ridiculous. It's sad. It's sad that you would even bring that up. Like those things are same. Now, on the other hand, right? On the other hand, you could say now, can I say within a liberal democracy, can I still say those things, right? Like, can I still say slurs, right? Oh yeah, I mean, you can definitely. You certainly can within a liberal. We don't have laws against saying those things, so you can do that, right? If you harass a person with it, that's different, right? And if you harass a Christian, for instance, that's different. And I would say that's wrong altogether. But to pretend these things are equivalent, no, these things aren't equivalent, and you're a fucking clown if you think that they are. Like an honest to God fucking clown. If you honestly think those two things are anywhere near
The
the
whole
same.
N-word thing, it's degenerate.
So, all right, I just had to get that out there.
One
'cause
is
that
a
was-
direct slur used to antagonize and put people down for hundreds and hundreds, if not 1,000 years at this point.
Not 1,000.
The other is a joke about some gay dude and a guy in a red costume. It's not even like on the same, like, I don't even know how someone could come to that conclusion. It's very strange.
Strawberry, then chinchilla.
Well, I think the analogy they're trying to draw is that using something that you know is offensive, and then I've heard it said a couple of times, well, why should we care? Well, I think then the question that they were trying to ask is, well, then why should we care if someone, is saying the N-word? Why should we care if someone's misgendering someone? Why should we care if someone is using your religious symbol to make fun of your religion? So, like, I mean, if we're going to be, liberal and just not care about anything, fine, then don't care about any of it. But it seems like we care about those other issues. So then to say that we shouldn't care about this thing that specifically offends a certain group of people seems like we're not being consistent across the board.
Well, I would say again, there's two things different about it. One, again, those other insults are against people who can't change anything. You could not be Christian if you like, right? You can drop it. Plenty of Christians do. In fact, we might have some former Christians within this call, right? Who have simply dropped it. So let's not pretend these things are the absolute same. Like a black person cannot not be a black person. An ethnic Jew, right? Someone who has an ethnic background, they can't not be an ethnically Jewish. So there's that. And then for my gay brothers and sisters, like they are gay. That is what it is, right? So let's not pretend these things are equivalent, because they're not even a little bit, right?
No,
but on the other side, I hear what you're saying. Right? You're saying, but still, it's an insult, right? And why should we not care about one or another? Nice. And I addressed it again, and I'll try it again. And maybe I didn't do it properly last time, but you can. You literally can, right? So despite all those things, despite these things not being equivalent, and they aren't equivalent, despite that, you still can within a liberal democracy, right? Within the confines of liberal democracy, yeah, you can actually say these things, right? And there will be, and people can respond differently, right? So I never said that. And if I did say it, then I do apologize, because I'll take it back. But I don't believe I said that Nacho doesn't have a right to be offended. He can be offended, right? I was asking him why he's offended. But like, I didn't say he didn't have the right to be offended. He can absolutely be offended, right? And he can absolutely respond the way he wants to respond, as long as he doesn't harass anyone or anything, stays within the bounds of the law. But Nacho can respond how he wants to respond. Anyone here who's offended can respond how they want to respond. So if you say those things, right? If you say the N word or you say something transphobic, right? Well, the people can respond to you how they want to respond, and yeah. So and that can come in all kinds of ways. Like for instance, losing your job, right? So yeah. Well, that's my answer. So strawberry, and then chinchilla, then pyro.
Yeah, I see the distinction you're trying to make. I just don't agree with just because someone's religion is a choice that it should make it any less I guess valuable is the word that it's being insulted rather than that you're insulting about someone's race. It's still something that they hold deeply, a deep value that they hold to themselves. So whether or not it's their choice to be Christian and they're offended, I don't think that should matter any more than someone being called, a racial slur or mischief or something like that.
Okay, fair enough. Chinchilla, then pyro.
Yeah.
I'm raising my hand, by the way.
Oh, I didn't see you. Okay.
So
Funny.
yeah, I'm gonna hop out. But anyways, thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that cancel culture can go both ways. So when we talk about this, is like basically what Prime just said was like point on. Basically, like there are like like it's pretty easy and pretty condemning that these things are like really apprehensive, so to speak. But honestly, like if you want to do the same thing, like American Nacho to leftists to that a certain extent, because you trying to find a remedy, uh, like you could try because you want to try like find like something to grasp on. You also want to find like you talked about like Native Americans having their own space, so to speak, that they can talk or they can make fun of each other, so to speak. uh well, leftists would call that a safe space, so to speak. But yeah, anyways, thank you, Brian. See you.
Thanks so much. Have a good one. All right, going down the list. We'll go to Pyro, then Ninetales.
Yeah. What I just fuck, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
It's something
Ninetales.
you're going to respond to. Let's try to jog remember. You're going to respond to Strawberry, or maybe talking about religion and whether you should be offended. Like that's when you raise your hand.
Oh, yeah. Like again, like you can be offended, and that's completely good. But again, like there's no real reason I should care. The other things you guys brought up, like Prime said, are characteristics you can't really change. Yeah, like I just don't understand what's really that hard to get about that. Like you can't really change if you're black or trans or gay or any of that shit. And usually when these are brought up, it's like something that's used to attack someone or if you want to be really fucking hyperbolic, harass them. This LilNas video, what is he doing that's attacking Christianity that like someone said it earlier, that they like Beard Guy said it earlier, that they don't already do to themselves?
I mean, but I'm going to ask you the same question. So then why should I care if you're offended about someone calling you the N-word? Why should I care?
You shouldn't. Like, I don't expect you to care. Like, I personally don't think you should care. If anyone else disagrees with me, that's on them to explain. I personally have been called that word many times with, hard R. As long as they don't fucking come over and try and assault me, I'm going to look at you weird, and then I'm going to stand away from you and continue my train ride. I don't give a fuck. It's a word.
I absolutely love your opinion. Everybody say whatever you want. If you're a dickhead, then treat them like a dickhead. Fuck him.
I mean, but like that's also the other thing that Prime brought up that like no one really wants to accept, right? That doesn't mean you're exempt from the consequences.
Oh, exactly.
Right, like
if I
that
use
doesn't mean that does not mean I want to be clear. That doesn't mean that if you say the N-word, someone should be able to assault you. No. That's against the law. That's violating your rights. But like if you say the N-word and then like someone videotapes you on public property and you're going off on your racist rant, and then like your job's like, yo, we don't want you representing us. Tough titty. You receive the consequences of your actions.
And also, you might catch the people's elbow.
If someone, well, again, yeah, we can't assault anyone. We don't encourage violence at all.
I'm not even joking.
In Minecraft.
No, I'm not even memeing. I don't care about like the consequences you receive as long as they don't break the law. I don't want people being assaulted because they said something offensive. I don't want people being murdered. I don't want any of that shit. I don't want people being harassed or death threats. That's fucking ridiculous. If you don't like it, move the fuck on.
So
Yeah,
I
from
would
Europe.
just say
In
that I
Europe,
would just say
racism is fun for the whole
sorry,
family.
hold on,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
yeah, no, yeah, it's fine. And I just wanted to add that, and we got to go to Ninetales. Been waiting patiently. Is that I have received consequences here too, right? It happens all the time. And people don't like my political opinions, right? And they're like, "Oh, I don't want to support this channel anymore." I don't. Their political opinions don't align with my political opinions. It's happened many times, right? The fact that I criticize religion, there's going to be a certain number of individuals, right, who say, I don't want to support this channel anymore because they are criticizing my religion, right? And that's fair. I'm gonna have to take that, right? Those are consequences, and I believe it's their absolute right to feel that way, right, and to be able to respond that way, and in a very lawful manner. It's like, I'm going to withdraw my support. I'm not going to watch anymore because of the things that have been said, and that's fair. But basically, I guess the larger point is like how should this, what should be done within a larger society, on a societal level, about this offense. And I think we should all have the right to offend, just like I do, just like you do to offend me here, right? You should all have the right to offense. So that was my point there. Ninetales, and then Nick.
Yeah, I think there's a logical paradox to when religious people even just claim offense. I think you can't have it both ways. I think what they're ultimately doing is projecting their own insecurities here. Because when you think about it, this is supposed to be what they're portraying is an omnipotent being. It's omnipresent, and on all these things. Yet none of us are being smited. We're supposedly here to insult this God. We're
you hear me?
here to.
Yeah,
Hi.
we can hear you. I'll put you on the list. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't see my voice heading up. Sorry, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, so I really do think that, like, if you're a religious person and you're claiming to have offense to things, you're also admitting that your God probably isn't that real.
Thank you. Let's go to Nick, Durham,
Yeah.
and then Brento.
I just need to like point this out again. There is a significant difference between violent language, a slur, and somebody showing a part of your culture that you might be embarrassed to be seen in public. All right? And like, Nacho, perhaps you didn't mean it this way, but being a white Christian man, okay, when seeing some truth about your religion that you don't like getting attention, and then saying, yeah, what about people saying the N-word though? I don't give a shit. Mexicans can be white, son. Are you a Native American? Because you don't look like a Native American to me. You look like a white
Actually,
man.
I do have some, actually, yes.
Wait, am I white?
So what? The point is, you're deflecting from some accurate depiction of your culture.
You're pointing this
and
out.
then as
Someone's
a literally
deflecting.
white presenting person in public being like, no, but what about people using the hard R in public? Shouldn't we talk about that? No, one is a violent slur that both like people that look like you have used for a long fucking time to be literally violent to people. And one is a victim of your culture, a victim of your culture.
Like, Jesus, does it hurt to be
that is a member of that group that is accurately portraying the image that your culture.
What's my group?
Christians.
Can I ask
I
a
thought it
panel
was white,
question?
so I mean,
thought it was whites too.
So hold on.
Can I?
Fucking pathetic.
I feel like this is stop.
Sorry, I thought. My bad.
Everyone shut the fuck
I
up.
was the one who pointed out race, but my
stop.
bad. Sorry.
Stop.
Okay.
Okay.
Can
Stop. There are other people ahead of you. Nick, you finish your point.
Yeah, Mexican is not a race, so whatever.
Okay.
Moving on.
All right. So let's go to Durham. He's been waiting patiently, and then we'll go to Brenterbox.
Man, this whole discussion is insane. Have you guys ever watched the Euro Cup for soccer? Racism is the entire appeal. Oh, Britain is playing against France. Oh, fuck you, go eat some snails. Every time Germany plays against anybody, the opposing team does the Hitler salute.
Yep.
It's racism is like fun for the whole family. And nobody's killing each other. Nobody
Russia
hates each
against
other.
France is usually pretty cucked too.
Oh yeah, Russia hates everybody unanimously.
Yeah.
I'm Russian. Russia fucking hates Russia and Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine is the same fucking thing, but we hate each other arbitrarily.
I think at their
and
last
it's
match they were
just
throwing darts at each other.
whatever.
That was pretty crazy.
It's no big deal. It's just fun. It's only in North America where it's such an insane apocalyptic thing. Everywhere else in the world, people look at America and we think, well, you guys are fucking insane. We love being racist to each other. It's fine. No one cares. It's great.
Is it really that hard to figure out though? Because
Because you're
America's
all
about
white, though.
freedom and
Is it only
stuff.
because you're
And if
white,
America's about
whatever?
freedom, then people want to
It's
feel
'cause I'm
free from
white.
being targeted by this stuff.
I'd like to point out just real quick, there's a difference
I
between
quiet or something?
nationalism and racism. So
Yeah. There is.
Yeah.
So let's go
I
to Brento Box. Brento, thank you for being here as always,
Sure.
buddy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I guess my question is, I feel like a lot of people's upset is that there is like it feels like there's a double standard. So I got to ask the panel and everybody, if Lil Nas was tweaking on Muhammad, would everybody be chill?
Yes, 100%. I don't care.
I doubt it. I doubt it,
If
bro.
not-
I doubt it.
No, you can doubt that. You can doubt that. I was trying to say this earlier, but like everyone was cutting me,
Absolutely
like
okay with it.
like
He could be
100%
twerking on
okay
the
with
great
it.
spirit,
As long
and I
as he's
wouldn't
not gonna
care.
get killed, as long as he's not gonna get death threats or harassed, do what the fuck you want to do. I'm just not gonna watch it. I don't
He'd
like
probably
Lil
get
Nas,
shot.
bro.
Yeah, on this channel, we've actively said like you should be able to
Well,
draw.
on this
like,
channel,
Again,
most
maybe
people.
maybe you didn't hear me, Derm. Like, I don't want him to be harmed for him making a fucking art piece. I don't
None of
care
us
like
do,
what
but
might
probably
happen
will.
or what like what you think would. I don't want him to. If he did the same thing, I'm answering the question. I wouldn't give a fuck.
This is Brento Box.
That's the best take. I don't give a shit either way.
Yeah,
There
I
are
think so.
people who are like obsessed with it.
So, but
For
for
an
Brento
arbitrary
Box,
reason.
Like there
on
has
this
to be some
channel,
sort of
we've
justice.
actively said like, at least I've actively said, I won't speak for other people. I've actively said they should be able to draw the Prophet Muhammad because why it should be held to like this other religious standard. I think it's complete bullshit.
Of course.
So yeah.
Right. So I totally agree. And my point is typically, and this is obviously it's not going to be to anyone specific on the panel, but I'm going to speak to it like, and you know the big overarching narrative they're talking about. It seems like the left gets more upset when someone offends Islam than Christianity, and that feels like the hypocrisy, and that's why people call it out.
I think. Well, maybe I know some people do feel that way. But I think they first of all they shouldn't because Christianity is still the dominant religion here and a dominant.
That's
culture.
not a reason to
No.
not feel offended.
No.
at some of my
Hold on,
predecessors.
let me just finish the point.
Sorry, go ahead.
No problem. It's a dominant cultural force, right? And most people, right? For instance, those people who are anti-religious, like they've grown up within a Christian context, right? So Christianity happens to be the thing that they know the most, right? Like
Absolutely.
I against a lot of the things that I see happening in a lot of Islamic countries, right? Under their tenets, but I literally don't know enough to like argue against them like as extensively, right? I do sometimes, but like as
Sure, of
extensively.
course,
So
of course.
and then I'm dealing with Christians, right? So we happen to have a room full of Christians. I'm not sure if anyone's Muslim here.
Sure.
But like that's why. And then this specific video was about Christianity. So yeah.
It's
Right,
fine to be
okay, I guess-
offended. You just get the fuck over it. Like a grown
I can
adult.
make a weird point, but like people will like when they're talking about like Black Lives Matter, right? They'll say like, we don't want you to shoot white people more. We want you to shoot black people less, right? Hey, how about that, right? It's a very simple thing. And it's like, people don't want you to hate Muslims more. They want you to hate Christians less. And it feels like there's a lot of extreme hate for Christianity. And when anyone hates on Muslims, it's called Islamophobia. And it is. And it's not right. But it feels like it's tolerated and celebrated by
Okay, when was the
Democrats.
last time a Satanist ever attacked a church?
That's a non sequitur. Fuck you. Answer the
There's
question.
like 30 of them.
There's a
Oh,
big
no,
difference
like, wait, time out. Wait,
by helping Muhammad and representing the Christian devil accurately. You're
hold on,
arbitrarily associating a literal slur. Not that I give a fuck because, you know, I don't give a shit about your religion iconography, but if somebody goes out of their way
Unless you're white.
to offend something you
It's not clear.
revere,
Why don't you answer the
right?
question?
And it is
Yeah,
different.
some white.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't give a shit. You can draw Muhammad, you can shit on a picture of Muhammad all day. I don't give a fuck. But the difference is
Sure.
that
Yeah,
you're
that's fine. I know.
saying, you're saying this black man, right? That who's been oppressed in multiple ways by fucking Christianity, who came from a Christian background, accurately representing the image that he was portrayed as by these people, and relating that to somebody dancing on Muhammad. Right?
Satanists
Those are
have no
two
terrorist
different
acts
issues.
because
Those
there
are
are more
two
people
different
in this
issues.
ship than there are Satanists.
On a religious belief, and one is an accurate representation of a active form of oppression that those people engage in.
You're trying to qualify
It's
it.
different.
You can't qualify it because there's been perfectly neutral representations.
You're just being
of
intellectually
Muhammad that
dishonest.
result in
Okay, I think I can clear this up. Nick, we've already been past this, right? He's telling his own story of oppression through this music video, and he's making art. He can do that 100%. No, we're past
Yeah,
that.
thank
You
you.
don't have to. You do not have to keep repeating
Done.
that like every 10 minutes. Please
But
stop.
you keep ignoring it.
It's about.
We're not. We
No. I'm not ignoring it. I'm not ignoring it. Thank you. I'm sorry. And you're right. Thank you. And you pointed out perfectly. My whole point is simply that when there are offensive representations within one religion, people cry out, and they're typically on the left, and it's when it's with Islam, and when there are the opposite in Christianity, I personally don't give a fuck if you tweak on them. But it's the disparity in the outrage. That's what the difference is.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what gets people upset. They're
I'll
actually
actually
upset about
bite the
disparity and
bullet.
outrage.
I'll bite the bullet on this one. Yeah, I think on some issues the left can be real big fucking hypocrites.
But
100%.
there's a disparity in the outrage because there's a disparity in the violence.
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
more
like,
violence in this around here to Muslims than there is to Christians. So, like, are you
That's
not
not
factoring
why.
that into your equation?
No,
I mean, like, no,
that is
yeah,
no because
that's a big
that
portion
doesn't
of it.
matter.
No,
Yes,
No,
it
that
does.
doesn't matter because
You want? Wait, are we supposed to have fake outrage?
Wait,
It 100% matters. Then, like,
No, it does not matter. It does not matter because the arguments are not based. The argument's not based on it. The arguments are based on respect. Period.
So wait, are we
It's,
supposed to
hey,
have
don't
fake
be- don't be-
outrage?
No. Look, the whole argument is don't be a bigot asshole. That's it. Do you understand? That's the argument. Don't be a
That
fucking
really
bigot.
didn't sound like your argument.
Bigot.
The argument
That's
sounded like
easy.
you don't like the left.
That's the thing.
I
No,
mean,
but
like,
that-
wait,
my whole
if you're
argument is
wait,
not-
sorry,
it's
sorry,
not
sorry,
argument.
sorry,
One
no,
time,
I'll
one time,
actually
one time.
answer. Can I
Hold on,
answer
hold
real
on.
quick?
Go ahead, try.
Like, yeah, like if you're just talking about bigotry, there's no fucking way we can twist this in our minds like a pretzel. It's just bigotry and like against Christians. No, fuck
Sure.
bigotry. Obviously,
Well,
if you're talking, well, hold on.
would
If you're
the hell
talking
tonight
about,
be called
hold on,
slapping Muslims?
whoa. If you're talking about like
That's
just
a question.
having, if you're talking about just having criticisms of the religion from like someone who's been in that religion and has had like dealings with it, like. No, I don't really give a fuck.
I'm not talking about that. I'm
Then
not
what are you
talking about
talking
that.
about?
Well, then I'll explain it again. I'm talking about the reaction from political sides in that when one religion is criticized, it is seen. They say like if someone draws Muhammad, they say like it's very offensive to Muslims because that is that is
No, we got
haram. It is haram.
We got
They
you.
say
We
it's
got that.
haram.
We got
It's against
that. I
the
don't
rule,
give a fuck.
right?
So we
Can I raise
Yes,
my hand?
I know. No. Hold up. I know you don't give a fuck, but we're trying to talk about things more than what you necessarily care about. We're trying to talk about why it's an issue in society. And my point is that it's an issue in society because people perceive a protectionism towards Islamic sanctity and sacrament, but they perceive a derision and a shitting on and a lap dance of Satan to Christians. So they say, hey, these people only care about Islam or Muslims and they shit on Christians. So that's what they feel. And that's very evident.
Okay, so
why would they feel
I'm gonna respond to you directly. Okay, I'll respond to you. And then I'm gonna hit up Kami. And then I think you had you wanna
I said I'll go after nine. I'll go after nine.
Okay, all right. So we go off the Nine Tails,
Thank you.
then Kami, and then I think Dan had their hand up. If I'm correct. And Nacho. All right.
I don't have a camera, but I'd like to speak too.
Oh, okay. So Brento, to try to tackle your point directly.
Sure.
Do you think it's the same when someone calls a black person the N-word as when someone calls a white person like redneck or cracker or something like that? Yeah.
Sure. No, I don't believe that is the same.
Why are they not the same?
They're not the same because of the power of the word.
Okay, so that's one thing. But All right. So why does the word have power? We'll do it this way. Why does that word have such power? The N word.
I guess it's because how it's been used to oppress black people.
Oh, hold on. The deep voice is back. Oh, I'm so happy.
The voice.
Oh, the voice is back.
Because you told me to. So here I am.
I love it. Oh, God, I love the voice. All right, thank you. But okay, great. So we can understand that those insults and those offenses and those
Sure.
threats, right? Because like the N word is more than simply an insult; it's a threat, oftentimes, right?
I understand.
Those things mean something because there was an oppressed minority, right? A group who has suffered some historical oppression, and
Sure.
and that has a cultural context. Okay, so
Can I say is because it was used to dehumanize people?
yes, exactly. Great. So
Correct.
that's
Yes.
why, like, I wouldn't say something bad about, like, I'm very careful with my words about Judaism, right?
Sure.
Not that I don't think that Judaism isn't just as bad as Christianity in so many ways, right? But like, it has a historical context around it, and anti-Semitism is a real thing. Now, and same thing with Islamophobia, especially within an American context, an American cultural context, right? And in that cultural context, Christianity is the dominant of the religion,
Sure.
right? The dominant cultural force. And so replacing that with race, these things aren't the same. These things aren't the same because the Christians don't have that history within this country as being hunted down, right? Or at least not for being Christians, right?
And I have a point to respond.
I'm literally almost done. I swear to God, I'm almost done. And I want to hear your response, Brento. But they don't have this cultural context of being hunted down, of this just general oppression, like a society working against you. Now, if we replace this society, right, with a Muslim majority country, right, within that cultural context, right, it would be difficult, if not impossible, to insult the majority in the same way, right? Like I could imagine a Christian minority in that context actually suffering that way. I'm imagining them having words for those Christian minorities, right? Which could be deeply hurtful because of the historical context. That's why I would say these things are not equivalent. Does that make sense to you, Brent?
I missed your last part. You said because of historical context, and I don't understand. I don't understand how that creates either parallel or a disparity. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't understand between these two societies that you're constructing. I understand one you're saying is our society and one is the Muslim society. How is I don't understand your point. Please finish. I don't understand
my point
how
is that,
oppression. I don't understand.
So I guess my point is that within this cultural context, right, that we currently live in here in America, that Christians being you back?
Yeah, I lost your last 10 seconds and I just had to come back in.
Okay. So I would say within our culture, American cultural context, that Christians have not faced, right, don't have that history of violence, of oppression. Now, Christians have been hurt, right? So you can see in terms of like in the South, right, there was a lot of firebombing of churches, right? But those were black churches. So it wasn't because they were Christians, those were black Christians. And so that's why those churches were firebombed, right? So not like Christians haven't been killed within Christian spaces, right? When that guy in South Carolina murdered those 9 individuals in that black church, right? It wasn't because it was a church, it was because they were black, right? So we can understand these things, right? So Christians don't have that sort of, so even when there is offense given, them with their dominant historical dominant power within our society, the offense isn't the same. The threat isn't the same, right? As is to anti-Semitism, there's a very real threat there. A very real threat. As it is to our Muslim brothers and sisters, there's a very real threat to their safety. As it is to African Americans, right? Saying the N-word, right? There's a very real threat behind that. When there's not a real threat, if I called you a cracker, and I wouldn't do that, but like if I called you that, does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I feel like there is a real threat behind it. And I don't feel threatened by him twerking on the devil. I feel threatened by people upholding a double standard. I feel threatened by people saying, like, you need to respect that religion, but not that religion. That's what I feel is the threat.
Is the threat,
that's why
is
I
that
feel
the
it's a problem.
threat? Is that threat of that double standard? It's the same as violence that's been carried out against individuals within
Violence is always based on a double standard because you want to treat others in a way you don't want to be treated.
Okay. All right. I feel like
I guess I'm always just. I'm saying like you. It evidently it's the exact same as saying like, hey, you're doing this to these people, and you're doing the same thing to those people, but you're guilty for one, and you're not guilty for the other.
Okay, all right. I gotta move on to the rest. I hear what you're
Not the same.
But there's a long list here. So Ninetales is up, and then we have was it Kami, and then we had fuck, I'm sorry, Dan, I think. Oh no, sorry, Durham, you had your hand up, and then I think Dan, and then Anthony. Okay. I think I had
Dan and then me.
Dan, sorry, what?
I said I thought I was after Dan.
Who's that? Say, like I don't.
Nacho.
Nacho. Okay. All right. All right. Great. So go ahead, Ninetales.
There's a perfect joke about it being Nacho turn. I'm sorry.
That's a good one.
Okay. So I have
That's disgusting.
I like
that.
That was great.
I have a response for Brento, but I also have a question for Dreamstick, and I'd like to really get to that. So yeah, what I really got from Brento's left-right comparison was that there's a lot of cherry picking. The duality falls apart as soon as you like actually stop essentializing leftist, and you realize that there's a diverse group of people. Those diverse group of people will not all just want to stand for Muslims necessarily. You know, a lot of them are probably atheist. If anything, there weren't enough leftists who came out on something like 9/11 and stood up for Muslims. There was some, but there wasn't like a movement or anything like that to protect Muslims, and it really should have been. It's really only a gotcha for people who have no sense of leftist values. Like you really have to have a void of knowing what leftist values are in order for that to keep going on. So I really think your bias is showing, and like if you knew anything about what you were talking about, you would also know that this is a dumb way to like look at this whole issue. And so for Dreamstick, I have a question. Why are you so afraid of the devil having any power whatsoever? If God is omnipotent and super powerful and stuff like that, shouldn't the devil just be a non-threat?
Well, it's not so much that he's the devil, he's Lucifer, he's Satan. It's the symbolism behind it, right? So Satan to Christians symbolizes something purely evil, right? Just the same as like you have something that you would consider purely evil, right?
Sure, but like what like again, all you have to do is apologize to God. So like, who cares about evil? You have an easy out.
That's not the point. It's like the point is that if you pursue evil, it causes suffering in your life. That's like the point. And
Okay, but that's
sure.
that's
That's the point of evil and good, right? No, you care because it makes you hurt and it hurts other people. So you care.
But I've also seen people pursuing God cause suffering. So apparently, this is not just something that only evil does.
Well, they're trying to pursue God, but the argument would be that they fucked up.
So they fucked up by going to a church for conversion therapy because they thought that not being gay was the way to get the solution to their problems.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
But then, like, here's the thing: is like, isn't there just a chance that you're just wrong then? That that.
Well, there's a chance that I'm wrong. I'm wrong actually very often. So if you want to take bets, that would be not a bad bet. But
I just feel like if you're in a position where you're afraid of the devil having like this much power, then you're kind of already conceding that God can't do much to begin with. And
you're 100% correct.
I don't
That's
see the point of
entirely true.
worshiping this person.
Well,
You're right. That's true. That's true.
I think the premise of that question is that I'm somehow a faithful man. Absolutely not. I believe in chaos theory. There is no intelligent design. We are the way we are because, well, it just happened to be this way. We got this way. But at the same time, what I am saying is that I believe personally that the Bible and all holy books, whatever religion that you want to go off, like, all teach the same things. It's just be good to one another.
Except for they're totally wrong about the fact that evil exists. Like evil is not something.
Of course, evil exists.
Evil
No, it
definitely
doesn't.
does exist.
It actually doesn't.
Was Hitler not
Okay,
real?
is
Was
this a
Stalin not
force?
real?
Is this a
Was
force?
they not evil?
Let me explain.
Okay. Yeah, Nine Tails, try to knock it out. We're not gonna go down because I know where this is going, and this is gonna take a long time. So, but please, Nine Tails.
Okay, but how do you visualize this? Is this a force? Is this a physical thing? Like I really don't think at this point you think the devil is a conscious being.
No, the devil is something that lives inside all of us. The devil is what you make it.
That doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does. It absolutely
If
is.
I kill all of you for fun, would that be evil?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yes, it would. That would be
Yes,
oh boy.
obviously.
Oh no,
Evil
boy.
doesn't exist.
Inherently,
Oh, boy.
he's gonna
Oh,
do
we
it.
agree that evil.
Sorry, we're gonna have a huge. There's a huge philosophical
We agree
debate.
that evil exists at least at some point.
We no.
Even
Not everyone
tree.
agrees with that. I can tell you
Evil
that.
is a pastiche.
Holy shit! I can
So
tell you
if we're
now.
gonna go-
I can tell you now. This is not gonna. I mean, I know this
Yeah,
is
no,
gone.
I was just gonna say, like, if we're gonna go down this
We're not
really
going to.
philosophical, like, what is evil? Then yeah, Prime's right. We're just not gonna fucking agree. That's like the whole point of the question. So like, can we just move on?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like, kill. Like, yeah, we live in a world where like, I
Yeah.
think everyone on this panel can agree that like killing a bunch of people or killing anyone for fun ain't
Right.
really the best. Is anyone gonna disagree with that?
Okay.
Well, let's just call that the floor, okay? And if anyone disagrees, we'll just not worry
It-
about
it-
it.
it's-
It
Okay.
makes things so simple
If
when
we
you
could
don't have
all
to
agree
dig
on
forever.
something, it wouldn't be much of a podcast, would it?
Okay.
It's bad, but how do I pick out the evil from that
Oh
scenario?
boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I just want to say, can I? Oh, go ahead, Prime.
So I'm sorry. It's going to take a while. That's another subject. I'm sorry, Nine Tails. It's a definite subject. I apologize. Oh, we got.
I have a response to Nine Tails, but
Oh, it's
I
going
just
to
want
take
to say
forever.
Nine Tails.
It's going to take forever. Sorry, I got to move
No,
on.
let me.
It's gonna move on. I
well,
got to move on. You
Not
can
if
tell-
we don't go into it. If I can just say it and then we move
Oh
on,
my
like the
God.
last word.
All right,
No,
fine,
that's okay.
fine,
That's okay.
fine.
But my I was gonna say, Nine Tails, you're 100% right. If anyone feels that God is like the opposite of omnipotent, impotent before the devil, right? Like if like someone twerks on the devil and you're like, society's gonna fall apart. You don't have like a full faith in God, right? That would make a lot of sense. That'd be kind of weak. You know, it wouldn't be a great faith. But it still is like, you know, if someone made a comparison about other things, I asked about what if he was tweaking on Muhammad as a concept of religious symbolism, and then other people said Hitler as a concept of like the epitome of evil, right? Like that's the worst thing that you're supposed to. Are you twerking? Are you showing your ass to like and dancing on like the worst thing? You know, that's the question.
Okay, let's move on. Kama, Danny, Nacho, Durham, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, Prem, you said what I was going to say about Brento's question, so I'll skip that. But I think for Nine Tails to answer what you were just saying, I think in like a religious view, it's not necessarily that like they're going to believe the end result's going to end in good, but it's like to pursue evil is not just simply like a personal effect, but that like has negative effects on current human flourishing. And so anyone that pursues that is going to bring negative effects to themselves, the people around them, et cetera, et cetera. Now, people can obviously disagree with that about what it is, but I think that would be the general kind of argument for why supporting the devil or evil or whatever you want to put
I
in
see.
there.
I have one question then.
Yeah.
Is it not God who's evil then for not just simply saving people?
Oh boy.
That's deeper one, but the question is, God saves those
That's the
who
philosophy
ask.
channel.
Is Tolkien evil
We're not in
for
that
writing a
server, John.
story where people die?
No.
If you want to talk to me later about
And that
what
would
I
be a
think
religion
what the religious answer to the problem of evil would be, then we can totally talk about that afterwards. But I think
If God is a writer, every single book has tragedies and people dying.
Okay, all right,
That
moving
doesn't
on.
mean
Danny.
Actually, Prime, you covered most of what I was going to say, so I'll yield my time over to Nacho.
Nacho.
Okay, I'll try this. I was still waiting. I would just say, like, I don't think you really even need to have like a religious background or anything to understand, like, to have it like a moral system. And I think that you could understand that certain things are probably against the best interest of you and your children and the general society, like as a whole, without even having to have like some Christian or any kind of religious background. Like, honestly, there's a lot of things like that I don't agree with Destiny on, but me and him agree on like generally like our moral system. Like I said, I'm not like your average Christian. I think his whole little system of like I exist, I have an experience, I want to maximize my experience. Other people exist, other people have an experience, other people want to maximize their experience. And then generally like humans want to synergize. If we work together, we can maximize our experiences together, and they'll probably help me, vice versa. Like I think that's generally like that's like the like most zero sum, I don't know how to say, like that's like the most basic set of morals you could probably live by without even being religious at all. And I think that just by those standards you could probably agree that certain things are not in your best interest to be like worshiping, etc. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. I was still in
understand.
the middle of thought.
Kama, we can hear you breathing on mic. Please mute yourself.
Sorry.
All right, moving on. Thank you for that, Nacho. We're moving down this list. Gotta get this done. Derm.
Oh shit, the topic ended. But okay, just a quick right. I completely agree, dude. The reason I don't do anything bad to the people I know or to you guys isn't because I think God will punish me. The reason I don't steal money from my friend isn't because I think I'll go to hell. That for all of us, that's not what we think about. We have our own morals that are independent from religion. And that's completely unrelated to the topic we've been talking about, but we finished the topic. So moving on, go ahead.
Moving on. No problem. Moving on. Anthony.
I don't think I have anything to say really.
Oh.
I'll be honest.
Okay.
Like the embodiment is like just go back down. I guess I can actually. So I'll move on.
Okay, sure. I'll give you the last word on this, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, the more I listen to this, it really just sounds like the complaint here isn't about a slur, it's about somebody advertising for your competitor. And that is not the same thing as violent language. And so I don't think that we ought in any way, pay attention to the complaints of Christians and they're like, somebody's promoting the devil. I just don't care.
Okay. All right.
It's not a slur. It's not offensive to anybody but you.
All right. Great. So I'm not saying great about his opinion. I'm just saying great in general. Just like, but thanks for that. And thanks all for stopping by. Tomorrow we'll have all black everything panel. It'll be great. We'll have a lot of fun individuals there. I can't tell you who because we're still working on the roster. It's fun running a panel show, I'll tell you. But in any case, thanks for stopping by, each and every single one of you. And if you haven't followed the channel yet, if you've been enjoying this content, do yourself a favor, hit that follow button, hit the notification bell so you know I'm going live. We do it 6 days a week. 6 days a week we're giving you this content. So don't miss out.